Coming at you live.
Yo, yo, yo.
I think we are live now. Yep, I think we're live.
Oh, really?
Yep, it's official. It's official. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yep, we're live. Oh, this was a terrible mistake you've made, Hondo. Are you sure you're ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready. Thanks for having me.
I'm honored. I'm truly honored to have you. Not just because I think your band's fucking dope, dude. Eat your piece. This was for the pre-show check. Not only because I think your fucking band's dope, dude, but you also came a long way. Living up in Duluth, came all the way down here just to do the podcast. I'm sure you figured out some other productive shit to do while you were down here, but
Yeah, you know, I got band practice tomorrow and then the show the next day. So.
But I do appreciate you basically coming down a day early to do this, dude. Yeah, for people that don't know, kind of let them know. A lot of people, because a lot of people do, man, and a lot of people have seen the episode with your guitar players. Let me make sure this is still working here. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're golden. Oh, you know what's really weird though? I don't see chat popping up like it usually does. Let me see if I can grab in chat. Here is it. Is that where it is? Chat? I'll find it. Yeah, I think we're supposed to be able to right here bring in chat. There it is. All right. So now we'll be able to see their chat comments.
Cool.
They'll pop up there on the right side a little bit later when people start chiming in and hanging out with us. All right, let me get rid of all these extra windows that we don't need. All this extra bullshit. What's that?
Just roasting me.
There's a lot of talking shit to me.
You got a lot of friends that watch it too.
Which I recommend. I highly recommend talking shit to me, about me. It's all very welcome. But yeah, point being is there is a lot of people who watch the podcast and they seen the last one with your two guitar players, or the last two with each of your guitar players. But a lot of people haven't as well, man. A lot of people, we got plenty of new listeners from last time since they've been on. So just kind of tell people who we are, what you do. Take as much time as you want. We're not in a rush.
My name is Alejandro Torres-Peña. You can call me Hondo. I do vocals in a band called By the Thousands. We are progressive metal based out of the Twin Cities here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Yeah, I've been doing vocals for, I don't know, about like 8 years.
Okay.
Roughly when I started, like 20.
So you're probably pretty busy. You probably don't actually watch the podcast, which don't you don't have to be like, oh, I watch it all the time. Don't worry. Nobody watches this fucking thing. But a lot of people know that I'm like super fascinated with names. Okay. So obviously you're of Latin descent. What?
Hispanic, Mexican.
Okay, it's Mexican. Okay. So what is your full Latin name?
Oh,
because do you know what I mean? Usually there's like 12 of them. Is it just
no,
is it just
this Alejandro?
That's it?
Yeah.
Alejandro.
And then Torres-Peña.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the shortest Latin American name I've ever heard in my life. You know what I'm talking about, though. You know the cliche that I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Why are there so many names? Like in standard traditional American culture, there's 3. You got a first, a middle, and a last name, and it's super simple. Usually, you take your dad's last name. That's it. Everything else, first name is usually your mom makes it up, or maybe you get named after somebody important. And sometimes your middle name, your family has a tradition, like no matter what happens, you take your grandmother's blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's always 3 names. Why? I'm super curious because I don't have a lot of Latin American friends. At least I don't have a lot of Latin American friends that actually know anything about the culture. Why do they have so many names, or why do y'all have so many names? What's the linkage there, or whatever you want to call it?
I'm not quite sure. I think it's kind of like a tradition to kind of like pass down your name to your kids in some sort of way. So like maybe like you'll be a junior, or like maybe take on parents' first name as a middle name or something like that.
So do you have an actual middle name?
I do not have a middle name.
So you don't
I got
have...
2 last names though.
See, and I've heard that too.
Hyphenated.
I've heard that too. Like middle names aren't really a thing. It's kind of more like how many last names do you have? Is that true?
I don't think it's like 100% true, but I mean, like, you know.
So
everybody's different.
Are you from there, or
No.
or you're that's just where like your blood is from?
Yeah, my
you're
dad's
born
from there.
Are you from Minnesota?
I'm from here. Yep.
Born and raised Minnesota?
Born in St. Paul. Yep.
Part of St. Paul did you grow up in?
Actually grew up in a suburb south of the city. I grew up in Inver Heights.
Okay, because we were talking before the podcast started that you and I both went to similar but not the same high school
Right.
in St. Paul based on creative arts of some version of that. So you've been doing vocals for 8 years. You're born in just outside St. Paul. Where, because St. Paul's super artsy, dude.
It is.
You know that, but our listeners may not understand. We talk about Minneapolis a lot. Twin Cities are kind of one giant city. And St. Paul is very artsy in a different way.
Yeah, like Lower Town St. Paul is full of like art warehouses, like cool like studios and stuff like that. And I know like Northeast Minneapolis is becoming like the new art district here in Minneapolis, and it's popping. Like we just went to the Vincent Van Gogh art exhibit like a couple of weeks ago, and that was pretty cool.
Yep.
That was held in Northeast somewhere.
Yeah, Johnson Street. Johnson Street is what they're trying to make. That is the new arts district there. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see. I grew up. That's right where I grew up, was in Northeast, right in that area, in that Audubon area, right by that Hollywood Theater. I grew up right down the road from there.
I figured you'd be a midway person for going to creative arts.
Well, imagine that, growing up in Northeast, but then every day I want to go to school, I'd have to fucking jump on a bus and take my way over to Midway St. Paul, go hang out with a bunch of St. Paul kids. It was a different world over there, man. Very creative, though, very musical. Now, is what I noticed is there is very little genuine metal community over there. It was very hip-hop, very punk rock, but very little metal. Metal, when I was over there in high school, metal was kind of like voluntarily being on like a deserted island all by yourself. Like if you wanted to have music friends, it was either hip hop or like punk rock. Is that true with the people you were hanging out with in St. Paul as well, or is that just my random isolated experience?
I guess like in high school, like metal was pretty much a thing when I was in high school. Like
how old are you?
I am 29 now.
Okay, so you're a little bit younger than me. Not like a lot, but
yeah, I think we've always had metal. I always hung out with the metal kids and stuff like that. But like we always grew up listening to, like, I remember like Born of Osiris was like super hot at the time, and like the Acacia Strain and stuff like that. So I got introduced to like heavy music just probably early high school, like really, really heavy music, but I always listened to metal, you know, before that. So I would say the kids that I hung out with were like pretty metal.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's hip hop was like pretty big too. Like a lot of people were like into the rhyme sayers type things and atmosphere and you know, Brother Ali and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that distinctly because I think those guys were from St. Paul, and I think they're from that area. I remember, right? Slug and all those guys and shit.
Yeah, Uptown or something.
So what got you specifically into music? You said you've been doing vocals for 8 years. You're 27 or 29?
I'm 29. So 9 years. I think I got serious with it when I was like 20.
Okay.
But before that, you know, I dabbled with like guitar and stuff like that. You know, I was playing other stuff before I even taken an interest in being a vocalist.
So what made you want to be a musician in general, and why metal?
Oh, I don't know. I just kind of like grew up in a very musical family. Like my dad was, he's a guitar player. He's excellent still. My mom, incredible vocalist. She's a singer. And my brother always played guitar growing up. My sister is a musician. She plays the violin. She's also really good. It's just kind of being in a musical family. You know, like my dad, I played in his mariachi band for like 7 or 8 years.
No shit.
Yeah, we played Boca Chica restaurant every fourth Saturday of the month.
Really?
Yep. And then we always just played private gigs, like weddings and everything. It was good cash in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, there Minneapolis used to be even better for that shit. Like Minneapolis used to be a town where, oh my god, dude, people would be able, I mean, you weren't going to get rich or famous or anything, but you could raise a family being a gigging musician just in this town. Like you'd still do out of town shit, but it's not like you lived on the road. Like
Right.
Minneapolis was a thriving music town. I mean, you can still do really well here, but you're not going to spend a lot of time here.
Yeah. The city here's a little expensive living, but it's not like crazy like you're gonna go like super broke living as an artist here. But you know, it's very limited. I feel like options and like opportunities. There's also a million other musicians here in the city trying to do the same thing as you. It's always a constant like fight, and that's not like a fight, but there's definitely like competition, stuff like that. You know, like you're always fighting for the gig, whatever it is.
What do you I mean, I definitely have an opinion. What do you think makes that vibe happen? Like, why do you think it feels competitive? Let's not even argue about whether it actually is or is not competitive. Let's just say it is, and regardless of whether that's true or not, what do you think gives you or gives it? Because I guarantee you're not alone on whether you think it's competitive or not or feels that way. What do you think gives it that vibe?
It's just the hunger for more, man. If you're thirsty and you want to play music, man, you want to get out there. So like you're gonna push yourself and push and push and push until you are out there, you know.
Right, but what makes it feel competitive?
Oh, just like the fact that there's a lot of people doing it. Like
right,
a lot of people like play metal bands. There's a bunch of metal
just
bands.
Not a lot of places to do it.
Yes.
Because I definitely don't think it comes down to not enough people listening. You know what I mean? And I think that used to be something like when I was a kid. So when I was about 10 years younger than you, but in the scene doing it, it felt like we were all competing for the fans. Like the fans only had enough room for so many bands in their heart. You know, they only had so much time in a day to listen to music. They only had so much money to spend on merch and shows. So it started to feel competitive because we were competing over. I don't feel like that's true anymore with the internet now. You can get your shit out there to 8 billion people, and they don't need to speak your language to dig your music, right? Maybe my podcast is a little different, but with it, it's not competitive like that. But what is different, it's almost flipped, is now there's less stages to do it on.
Okay, yeah.
So there's less shows to play. There's less avenues to get in front of those people outside of the internet. So it still feels, it still does and can feel a little competitive for certain people. I totally understand that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, not so much like competitive anymore, but like I would say like, you know, growing up back in the day, like trying to get that gig, you know, there's a bunch of bands trying to get on that gig, you know, type shit, you know.
Yeah, and you have assholes like me being like, well, listen, everybody wants the show. Why should I pick you over these other bands? Well, the key is not to talk shit about the other bands.
Oh, no,
but I think when I was young, I didn't really understand that, you know? So what the hell possessed you to become a vocalist? Because I've done your job, dude. And it's alluring. But especially if you want to stick with it, it is not what a lot of people think it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, you know,
you got to really love it.
Yeah, it's a harsh instrument to have for yourself, you know what I mean? Like your own voice, you know, like doing it at an older age. I have no idea what that's going to be like. But I mean,
start looking at guys like Randy.
Dude, Randy, he's killing it still though. He sounds so good.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's
like start looking at guys like him and what are they doing?
Right.
Like what are they doing to preserve their, just like you would look at an elite level boxer or NFL player who's like Tom Brady. Like if you're playing quarterback and you're trying to figure out, man, like, how do I play into my 40s? Well, look at Tom Brady and figure out what he's doing and try to do something like that. You know what I mean? That's what we got to do in our industry, is look at the musicians who are, because like you said, it's brutal, brother. Brutal on your body. It's brutal on your vocal cords. It's brutal on your mind, on your soul. It is not easy to do this style of music.
Yeah, but I think it just kind of came out of just your love for it, you know, like listening to your favorite albums, you know, like just screaming along to it, you know. I was never really good at first, you know, it just kind of like came with time. But
so when you first started off, you weren't a good vocalist?
Oh, no.
What did you can swear. You can swear on here.
Fuck no.
Okay. So this is fun for me because neither was I. I got pretty good pretty quick, but I probably fucked around for like a year or two before I got good.
Same, yeah. Before I could like do it.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I don't think they really realize how long we have to suck as musicians before most of us get good. So if you only suck for a year or two and then suddenly you get good, like that's pretty fast. For most guys, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You know, they start when they're 14 and it's somewhere between 20 and 24 that they actually get good. So for you, it was about a year?
It was about 2 years, I would say. Like it was a lot of like I said, just putting on your favorite record, blasting it in the basement. Just
what did you sound like when you sucked? Like when you first started doing it, what did your scream sound like? Because mine was like, so different.
Like, I don't know, just like barely anything, you know, like yeah, it was terrible. But yeah, I'd say it took about 2 years to get at a point where it sounded like good and full and consistent. And it was a lot of going downstairs, blasting music, screaming along to it, felt your throat getting sore or whatever, just cut it out for the day, you know, and then I'd pick it back the next day.
So did you, because I always wonder this, right? Like as vocalists, I feel like we kind of think like comedians, like singers. We kind of think like comedians, meaning most of the time when we first start out, we try to emulate our favorite singers.
Yeah, true.
Which is like the worst thing you could possibly do for your career. You hear the exact same thing with comedians, right? Every comedian will tell you this. When I first went up, I basically just did this guy's act, you know, and it's somebody famous. And they just tried to basically be that. And it was a long time before they found their voice. Who were you trying to emulate when you first started off?
Ooh. That's tough. Say Randy Blythe was definitely one. I really loved him. And as far as like,
so stylistically, you went right for the jugular.
Yeah, I guess the style I do now, I guess, is heavily influenced by Whitechapel's vocalist Phil Bozeman.
Okay.
Yeah, I just loved how deep his voice was. Like, you know, like.
So you weren't singing or doing anything before you went that.
I mean,
like to the scream, to the, because
not seriously.
In case people don't understand what I'm getting at, you do some singing in By the Thousands, and you're pretty fucking good at it.
Oh, thanks.
So, like me, I definitely didn't start off with the blah, blah, blah. I started off trying to fucking literally be James Hetfield. You know what I mean? And then later added screaming into the repertoire. And then eventually evolved into sounding a lot. People used to comment that I sounded a lot like Randy, or it was like I would get this common but differing opinion. It was like a spectrum. It was the dude from As I Lay Dying to Randy Blythe. But those were the two consistent ones, and then it was just like on a spectrum of how close to which one. And that was not intentional. That was just what I eventually sounded like. I started off going one direction. You did, though, and that's what I'm curious. So you didn't start off trying to be a singer in anything else? No other genres?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I was more of like hard rock, like heavy rock before I got super into metal. And when I was about like 17 or so, maybe 16, I did have like a little band. and
you had a little band.
a little band.
The way you said that, I did have a little band.
It was a high school.
As
thing,
if you're
you know?
not a musician now. Like you say it like you're an actor, like you're a successful actor, and you're like, yeah, when I was in high school, I had like a little band, you know. Like you're still in a band.
Yeah, true.
A good one.
But this one was like far like the level of like songwriting ability that we had is definitely.
So you weren't
back in the
good.
day.
It was a shitty high school band, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So we were all in those bands.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us were.
But yeah, I tried singing in that.
Okay.
And then following came a little screaming, and then I took it more seriously a couple years later.
So your whole family plays instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Why singing? Like, what draws you to that?
I mean, I started out playing guitar.
Okay. Did you not like guitar?
No, I still play. I just don't play it in my band. You know, I like write a lot of acoustic shit for myself. You know, like soft stuff. You know, kind of.
So did you just get like? Because I remember when I was doing your job, not like when I was doing your job like in your band.
Right,
For anybody that's confused, when I was doing that job in my own project, I never wanted to sing, but we couldn't find a singer, and so I was like permanently filling in for myself, right? And then all of a sudden, it was like, well, you're not horrible, and you'll probably keep getting better. And there's like a million guitar players who are better than you, even at playing your own riffs that you write. Mm-hmm. So why don't you just sing and like we can find anybody? Was it something like that, or were you just not loving it?
No, it's just
like why do you decide to be a vocalist? Because I'm just curious because I do all these instruments except vocals now.
I've done guitar in bands. Probably in like 2 bands. I played drums in a band. Wasn't very serious, but it happened. And then I was just like, the only thing I really haven't done is like vocals, like be a frontman. And you know, getting into like bands like Lamb of God were like random.
So was it just a challenge? You just wanted to challenge yourself, or what?
Kind of. Just wanted to do something different, you know. Just like, you know, be a frontman, you know, perform and have that energy, you know.
And then what? Did it just like you just happen to be better at it than the other ones? Or did you enjoy it more or what? Or did the band just do better than the other projects had done?
It was more like I was playing guitar and then like there was a band that asked me to join them as a vocalist like a while ago, and I did it. And I kind of built myself as a vocalist then, and then like getting out of that band, you know, went into By the Thousands eventually, like with my vocal background. They kind of were just like, hey, let's do this. You want to be our vocalist? And I was like, all right. So yeah, it's not.
So it's almost just like the pieces just fell into place that way.
Yeah, it was kind of like I was
like a perfect storm almost.
Yeah,
like the stars aligning or whatever.
I never like went out of my way to like be like, hey, let me be a vocalist in this band or anything. It's more like people just coming up to me and saying like, hey, what are you doing? Not really doing anything musically right now. Why don't you come jam with us? You know.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, just knowing the right people. And
I'm gonna grab a beer. You want?
Sure. Yeah, I guess it's just more like knowing the right people who are trying to play, you know. Ooh, spicy beer.
In the Game of Thrones glasses, bro.
Ooh, very nice. Love me some Game of Thrones.
So, did you say... God, I can't hear a fucking thing in these headphones. I can tell that it's working, but I can't hear fucking... I mean, I can hear you in these headphones pretty good, but I can't hear me in these headphones at all. Which is fine, because I hate the sound of my voice. So, let me ask you this.
Same.
So, By the Thousands was already banned?
Yes, they were. And, dude, they were like one of my favorite local bands at the time, too. So, it was pretty insane how everything worked out.
How did it work out?
So it
There
was
you go,
my
sir.
friend's Andy's birthday, and Andy was roommates with a couple members of By the Thousands at the time. And I remember earlier that day, kind of like perfect timing actually, because I remember earlier that day, I just like ended things with like a 3-year long relationship that I had back in the day, so I was kind of like hurting. So kind of wanted to go hang out with friends, and Andy invited me over.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers. Thank you.
Oh, that's really good, dude.
It is.
That's fucking super good, bro.
Yeah, who would have thought like spicy and beer would mix?
Oh, I fucking love it.
It is good.
It gives me a full erection every time. I'm very aroused right now, just so you know.
Good thing there's a table.
6 feet, social distance.
So, yeah, so I went over to their place and hung out for a while, and all of a sudden, like, the band like surrounded me at one point. I was just like sitting down on the couch, I believe, and they're just like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" We're just like,
Are they like literally surrounding
dude,
you?
yeah, I was sitting down, and I'm pretty sure they're all standing. Like,
Dude, that's weird. That's super creepy.
So me being a huge fan of the band before, like, they were just like, "You'll never guess what." And I was just like, "What's up?" He's just like, "Lewis quit the band," and Lewis was the vocalist at the time.
And so they already knew you were a dope vocalist, or what?
Yeah, I was like auditioning for bands at the time. Like there was a band called Volumes that I sent in a couple of videos for. So I was just kind of trying to get back into music. I haven't been in music at 2 years or so at that point. So was kind of feeling the itch to get back into it. Haven't done vocals in like 2 years at that point either. So it was rough beginning. But so pretty much they surrounded me and there's like, yeah, Lewis quit the band, and I was just like, what are you gonna fucking do? Like that's horrible. Like
we're gonna recruit you.
Yeah. Like, I love that guy. That guy sounds so fucking good. And then they're just like, well, we were talking to him and we are just like, who do you feel like would best suit your replacement? And he said Hondo. So at the party they surrounded me and were like, you want to join? Want to like come jam with us next week? I was just like, yeah, absolutely. Because I was pretty thankful for it, because you know I was just in a dark place at the time and wanted to get out, and yeah, it was a good gateway out of my depression.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Sorry if anybody's watching and they wondering what the fuck I'm doing. For some reason, the scene switcher's not staying on you when you're talking, so that's why I bounced up, and that's why I was giving it like a weird look, because I don't know. By the way, if things don't sound right, guys, please put it in the comments, because I can read your chat in real time. If things sound weird or whatever, let me know. If you guys like this kind of content, please hit like, subscribe, all that kind of shit. All the links for this man's stuff are in the description. If you guys, which I want to play one of their songs right now, one of your guys' songs. Because anybody that's confused or doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about, I want them to have an idea as to the sound and the vibe that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've had both your guitar players on already.
D-Man and J-Man.
D-Man and J-Man.
AKA.
I don't remember their episode numbers, so don't ask me. But it is Dustin Korth and John Olivier. It's hilarious because Dustin went to high school with my guitar player in Nebraska.
Small fucking world.
And went on separate paths, and then randomly in Minneapolis ran into each other across the street, like at an intersection, reconnected, and then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, they worked together at Guitar Center.
That is insane. Small world, man.
Very small world. Very strange. All right, let's play one of these songs. I don't want to play the one. I want to play either the second or the third one. Do you remember which one where I was like, oh, it's got this kind of vibe to it? In your vocals, you were singing. Do you remember which one that was? It was either the second or the third one.
Second or the third.
Well, I know it was the second or the third. You gotta help me out, bro.
Think.
I'm playing the second one.
Yeah, let's just go for that. And it is.
cautious state of mind. Race through the memories of mine. Started, just what to say. about the life left through these eyes. When every moment falls in place, and inside, only pictures carry memories of my life. Will I ever visions are unbearable. They weigh me down to sleep underneath the
Like, he doesn't actually work there, and you know what I mean? But he threw up some money, and they do some dope shit. But yeah. The fucking video is cool, dude. I like that Jesse Lynch dude. I wanna talk to him.
Shit.
I wanna have him on the podcast.
He also did our Soul Conductor video as well.
Maybe we should play that one too.
Yeah, absolutely. That one's a little gory for some people, but
Is that the
I
one with
like
Alex Kelly in it?
Yes, it is. He plays Anubis.
Dude, that shit cracked me up, bro. When Dustin Korth, or it was either Dustin or John, one of them, when one of them was coming on the podcast, they sent me the fucking the video. And Alex is one of my best friends.
Nice.
Like,
He is a sweet guy.
like I've known him for well over 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Well over 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I just had to do some math real quick. I'm 37 now. Definitely before I was legally able to drink, I met him.
So
And then we
Copy
became
as well.
Yep.
Solid
Definitely not as close with Copy as I am with Alex, because I met Alex way before he joined Reaping. I met Alex when Alex was in a band called Six.
Okay.
And Alex got into that band because he worked with Kyle Skogquist at a pawn shop, and Kyle was in another band. Kyle was just on the podcast, but those guys worked together, and so it was like a referral thing. Like, hey, this band Six is looking for a guitar player. Mm-hmm. Six rehearsed next to my band, like next door, and so that's when I got studios.
Okay.
And so that's how we got to know him. And then Alex and I became really close friends because we both got obsessed with disc golfing at about the same time. And so there was 2 or 3 summers in a row where almost every day, before, during, or after work, because sometimes it was our lunch break, like we'd hit each other up and be like, hey man, you want to go fucking throw some disc? We'd be like, fuck yeah, where? And like we'd figure out what course we could both make it to, run, and then still get back to work at a decent time. I would take extended lunch breaks, and it was fucking hilarious because I got no respect from anybody at work for so long, because I was the young musician who didn't care about his job. And then all of a sudden I'm like, listen man, I gotta leave at 11 today. And they're like, why? And I was like, don't worry, I'll be back, because I worked in collections, so you could still you just had to put in 8 hours from like literally 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. It was like, as long as you have 8 hours and we don't care. And I was like, oh, I'm going to play. And I learned right away, just don't say the word disc. Don't say the word disc. So I was like, oh, I'm going to play golf with my buddy. And they're like, you play golf? And I was like, yeah, tee time's at 11:30. So I got to get out of here at 11 so we can hit the course. We're going to be done by 1:30. I'll be back by 2. And I'll work my other 4 hours. They loved it because the middle of the day was bullshit anyways. all of a sudden, dude, my bosses started to respect because they thought I was going out to play real golf.
Mm-hmm.
Man, when they found out I was playing disc golf, all the weed jokes started. They immediately were like, "Oh, fucking yeah, playing golf, man."
I mean, like,
they weren't lying. And they weren't wrong.
That's why I played disc golf with my friends, to hike around and drink a beer, smoke some weed with my friends.
Dude, I thought it was so fucking hilarious when one of those two was coming on the podcast and I hit play on this music video and there's my buddy Al. And I'm like, Bames, what are you doing in these guys' music video? Like, I didn't even know y'all knew each other. How did that connection get made? How did he end up in that music video? That's one of my best friends. Just fucking wild, small world.
By the Thousands and Reaping has always kind of had a close connection with each other. Like,
did they take you under their wing when you guys were like the young baby bitch band?
Not necessarily, but we played a lot of shows together, and we still book shows together. Like, I know we just announced a show with them in, where is it, Menominee, Wisconsin? Is that some brewing place?
I went to boarding school in Menominee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was that? Don't ask.
I could do a series of podcasts, which I might start a new podcast just about that boarding school.
Just what's wrong with boarding schools?
No, just almost like a murder mystery podcast, but just on the sagas of, and then name that school.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's some crazy shit. I don't even want to waste our time on it. It's a wild ride, dude.
I can't imagine.
It's unbelievable. Like, if I were to try to tell you all the stories of the shit that happened and went down there, just the shit I was a part of, let alone the stories and shit I heard about right before and right after I got there and left, it's literally unbelievable. Like, you wouldn't believe it. You'd be like, you would think I was making it up. Not only from culty shit to some wild sex abuse shit to some fucking crazy drug usage to basically small young teenage orgies to grand larceny, robberies, fucking drugs. You would think I was making it up.
For sure.
I don't tell these stories publicly because they are literally unbelievable. I wouldn't believe them if I wasn't there. I'd be like, you're full of shit.
Sounds cringy.
Dude. Cringy maybe. That's one word you could use for it.
Sounds like art
fucking
school.
Menominee. So you guys have known those guys for a long time. So what'd you do? So what you just ask them, hey man, we're shooting this music video. We want you to be in it.
Yeah, we're looking for like a bigger dude, like we know Alex is a fucking big dude.
And he doesn't have a soul, so that was obviously gonna translate well on camera. And in case the listeners don't understand that joke, it's because my very good friend Alex is a ginger, and we all know that gingers don't have souls. Yeah. So yeah, that joke didn't land very well, but
fucking South Park.
It's all right. Isn't it weird how they fucking started a whole thing?
Mm-hmm. They started a lot of things.
Oh man, they just signed a new thing. They're doing South Park's done.
Oh, are they?
But they just signed a new thing where they're basically doing like. Did you watch the specials, the like pandemic special, and that's basically what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I might have.
Like once or twice a year, they're gonna put out like a thing.
Okay, but they're done making like
the show's done. Yeah, the show itself is done. They finally got themselves canceled.
They went hard for a while, quite a bit.
My favorite thing they ever did was the last 3 seasons. Literally, they started their own hashtag called Cancel South Park. Because they were literally trying to get canceled by cancel culture, and they couldn't get canceled. Like it didn't.
How can they not be canceled? There's so much history.
They're so offensive. They're so offensive. But for some, and that's why I don't know how you feel about it, but that's why I think the entire cancel culture thing is total bullshit. is because they gave people passes. Like, so their outrage wasn't based on what was actually being said. It was who was saying it. And if they liked it, like South Park, well, it's fine. They get a pass. But other cartoons would get canceled. Other comedians would get canceled. But these guys know we like them, so it's okay. Fucking dumb.
Yeah. It's a weird subject. Like, I believe in, like, if you've done some shitty things in your life and finally got caught for it, then yeah, fuck you, you know.
Are you a Guns N' Roses fan?
Ooh, not really. I've seen them once.
You know where I'm going with this?
No, I have no idea.
Axl Rose is notoriously known for beating the living shit out of his wife in the early 90s. In fact, I think it was 2 different wives he beat the shit out of. Definitely 2 different women, but I think it was 2 different wives. But we've already, dude, here's the point, is society already had to tackle this problem a long time ago. Almost everybody is super fucked up. Almost everybody has serious demons in their closet. Separate the person from the art they're creating. We're allowed to consume and enjoy the art they create without enjoying or supporting them as a human being. We're totally allowed to do those things. Because, like, find me any great man and I will show you that he's probably a shitty person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the greatest people in our world do horrible shit. It's just the reality we live in.
Case sometimes.
Yeah, if you're clean and you're safe, then you're fucking vanilla. And vanilla is never known to be sexy or, you know, thought-provoking or envelope-pushing. And that's what art is, you know? Go back to where we started this conversation, which is about the art, about the music, you know, about what drives us and pushes us to this. That's my biggest question, is why did you choose metal? What pulled you to metal versus... And if you don't have an answer yet, if you need to chew on it, I can give you mine.
I would say, like, just metal was just the thing I felt more connected with. Like, you know, I gave, like, a lot of genres of music, like, a shot, you know? Like, you know, I grew up, like, 90s, like, that. I was born in 92, so I kind of grew up with the whole boy band scenes and all that stuff like that. You know, I went through Backstreet Boys and NSYNC when I was super little. Then kind of like got introduced to like Creed.
It's funny you guys say that. It's funny you say that though, because if you were born just a few years earlier, when you reference R&B and boy bands, you reference like Boys to Men and Blackstreet, right? But just a few years later, it's NSYNC, 98 Degrees, and Backstreet Boys.
So yeah, obviously I gave that a shot. Not my thing.
And then Creed.
Yeah, and then I went to like bands like Creed, and went to like Butt Rocky.
Dude, Creed was dope when they first came out.
Yeah,
they
like
were so
prison.
They were so against the grain of what everything popular was. Creed was actually cool for a minute. Like a hot minute. Creed was like legitimately a cool band to be into. God, what happened with that?
It just didn't live up to the.
They didn't stay cool very long.
Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of started with that. Kind of like listening to like radio rocky kind of stuff. That's really all I had back in the day. I didn't like have a lot of CDs or anything or access to all that stuff. So radio, you know. So like Creed. Thankfully, like Nickelback and like
you're like the last
Caesar
of a dying
shit.
breed of kids that didn't have immediate access to anything they wanted via the internet and a phone.
I guess I just really
we had the radio. That's a big deal. It really shaped us. We were fed music. Nowadays, these kids can get whatever they want, whenever they want, wherever they want,
even without ads.
I mean, fuck, dude, K-pop. There's no chance we would ever even been able to get access to K-pop when we were that age.
Like baby metal. That band is sick. Awesome.
Happy metal?
Yes. Yeah, so started off with like kind of rock bands like that. And then kind of just really liked the heaviness of like tones that guitars had, you know, and stuff like that. It kind of made me like want to find heavier music. So it kind of like drastically went from like rock bands like that to like Children of Bodom, and then
right on.
like In Flames, like Soilwork, and like those like European bands that are super super sick.
So you mentioned who you started off trying to sound like, and that was kind of like you kind of set your sights on like a Randy style.
Yeah, Randy, Phil Bozeman.
Who do you get compared to now that you've evolved into your own? Not who do you think you sound like? What do other people compare you to? And my real question is, do you find it annoying to be compared to other people now? Whereas back in the day, it would have been an honor for any young musician.
Right.
Oh, you sound like Randy. You'd be like, really? Thank you.
Yep.
10 years later into our careers, it's actually kind of an insult.
For sure.
Do you feel that way?
No, not necessarily. Like if you hear somebody and they remind you of somebody, you know, not insulting to me for them to come up to me and be like, hey, you remind me of this person. I'm not gonna be like, well, fuck you, you know. I'm gonna say, oh, thank you.
Well, I didn't mean it that way.
Right.
I just meant like it would start to dishearten me after a while when I was a vocalist, because I'd be like, man, I'm not really trying to sound like him. I'm trying to do my own thing. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how I took it. Like, I never said like fuck you. I of course said thank you, but the thank you was no longer genuine, is what I'm getting at. It became just the right thing to say.
I try to be me as much as I can, but I take my influences, you know. Like I said, Phil Bozeman was definitely the kind of guy that I looked forward to as far as like a gnarly like guttural like low vocal style. Like I just love that deep like gutturals that they just sound super heavy, you know. And then I was more of like I've always been like the more raspy like sounding style. Like I love hearing that. Like I like lower like more monotone vocalists versus, you know, like the ones that can belt up really high. I do appreciate that. I love it. Like if I hear like a vocalist do like a super sick like siren, you know, like it's super sick. But for me, it's more raspy. I like that kind of stuff. I like that style. And yeah.
What does that comment say? I'm trying to read this comment. Oh, you get the Bozeman comparison a lot.
I do.
Shout out to Dustin. Shout out to everybody in chat. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Much love. Make sure you guys hit like. And I don't know why I'm doing this like Instagram model thing where I'm like looking over my shoulder. Like, hey guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I don't know why I'm doing that. I like being at an angle.
Angle's good.
I think that's what I like. And so I end up leaning one way or another, and then I forget the camera's there, so then I'm looking over my shoulder like a seductress. Dude, all right, let's talk about these eyes. Let's talk about these eyes on this thumbnail, because everybody sees it. Dude, okay. So here's what I think. I think when we put this thumbnail up, I thought it was hilarious because I think the eyes are hilarious in this photo, because if you're a chick, I think when you look at those eyes, you find them very seductive. But if you're a straight male and you look in those eyes, you find them incredibly threatening. That's what I like. That's what's going on in those eyes. And it's funny because you said something to the degree of when we were hanging out before the podcast, you were like, I get that a lot.
Yeah. It's I'm either very intimidating to people or it's the fucking eyebrows, man.
You think it's the eyebrows?
Dude, I think it's the eyebrow. Like they're brows right now. It's usually a brow. One singular. It's my genes, man.
It's a unibrow.
It is.
They're very intense eyes. Let's get rid of the eyebrows. I'd be interested to take one of those photos I have and Photoshop the eyebrows out, because I'm convinced it's the intensity in the eyes.
I think it's the eyes.
Have women
red.
over the years complimented you on how beautiful your eyes are?
Yeah, but like
I knew it. See how slow and uncomfortable he was to admit that, but I seen it.
I get a lot of those compliments, but they're usually from like people I don't want to hear them from, like like your mom's
like
best
your
friend,
mom's
or,
best friend.
yeah, shit like that, and it's like, oh, geez, thanks.
It'd be like, it'd be way cooler if you were way hotter. Oh, it's fucking funny, dude. And then you were talking about how you always get fucked on your snapshots of the thumbnails for the videos you guys make.
Oh yeah, it's just bad luck or whatever it is.
The facial expressions you're making in these thumbnails.
It's like any other clip of that music video would have been fine.
It looks
But
like
they picked that one.
it looks like you're yelling at somebody for putting a piece of shit in your salad. Like that's the face you're making. It's like you're mid scream at somebody for doing something really fucked up.
Don't
I
put
know
shit in my
exactly.
salad.
I know exactly what you're talking about, man. It's like trying to get a photographer to come out and get a great picture of a vocalist who's screaming. Like, you can get a lot of good photographers that'll come out and get you, and you look intense and intimidating and things like that. But like, you're kind of just like a one-trick pony in our genre, man. Like when you're doing metal and you're a vocalist and you're screaming, and the reason I'm bringing this up and asking you all these questions, dude, is because I eventually got burnt out and I got frustrated, dude, because like I no longer felt like I was respected as an actual musician. They didn't know I was one or the person or one of the people who wrote the music.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know I could play guitar. Nobody cared. It was just like, oh, you're brutal. You know, or other people would judge me and be like, I wish you didn't run around like a fag on stage all the time. Because I did. I would do like crazy effeminate shit and like I'd booty dance during blast beats and shit because I was fucking bored and I was sick of being on stage with all these dudes who took themselves too seriously.
You're just having fun with it. I get it.
Exactly. Now you've been in this band for a lot longer than I was in any individual band. Count your blessings on that one, man, because that's one of the hardest things about this industry is simply keeping a band together.
Yeah,
one of the biggest things. You guys have done some pretty cool shit, some pretty successful shit. You guys have played some really great shows.
Yes.
You guys have done some really cool shit locally, like where I met you the very first time was at the brewery.
Oh, the beer release. Yep. Yeah,
fucking cool. Fun time. It was just a cool thing you guys did. You teamed up with a brewery. They named a beer after you. And you did a whole like event. I actually was shocked you didn't play that night.
I wish we could have, but it's just probably just like the businesses that are like upstairs from that building. Or
There's
whatever.
Also licensing issues. Like they probably only had like a C tier entertainment license, which means like Spotify and a jukebox. They can't do bands. You got to get a B license for that.
For sure.
Whereas like Target Center and those styles, that's like an A level license. And then like C is like a jukebox. I think actually C is like karaoke. You can do like karaoke with a C level, but it's real. Like you can't just impromptu throw a show wherever you want. Sure. You got to get the right licenses. You got to get it approved by the fire marshal. It's a headache.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like that scene in Wayne's World 2 where it's just like, oh, you want to throw a concert? Here's a giant stack of documents you have to fill out.
Yep, and that's not actually that much of an exaggeration.
No, I believe it.
It's really not. But no, you guys have done a lot of cool shit. How do you prevent yourself from getting bored from playing the same shows over and over again? And some guys use the word jaded. They'll be like, oh, Jared, you sound a little jaded. It's like, no, I'm not jaded. I'm just burnt out, man. Like I can't stand in front of the stage at every concert and support every band opening for me anymore. Nor am I Sandy, nor do I hold any animosity if the headlining band isn't out there supporting me when I'm the opening band. Like, I get it. Mm-hmm. That's something we were able to do when we were young and excited, and now it's like, no, we're all here just doing a job. We love music. That's why we're doing it. But we're here doing a thing.
I would say for me, that we don't like continuously play like all the time. So I guess it is more exciting for me when we do get to play. Like this is our first home show in the next couple days here, and since before the pandemic happened, you know.
So like, what about tour? What about when you go on tour and you're playing the same shit for 2-3 consecutive weeks over and over and over again? What do you do to break up the monotony so you don't get bored on stage?
I guess for me, I don't necessarily get bored on stage. Like even doing the same show, it's fun to me.
I mean not being bored on stage, being bored with the music.
Oh, I mean,
so like, how do you keep yourself freshly entertained and enthused? Like some bands just improv and change up the songs a little bit,
or just start
Adam D.
music,
D from Killswitch Engage started wearing short shorts and a cape. You see what I'm saying? Like they did something. What's your trick? What do you do? Or have you not reached that point yet?
I haven't reached to that point where I feel like I'm bored with my music and has to like spice it up somehow. I guess like I'll phrase things differently sometimes. So, like I'm not gonna say like every single lyric like the same way it is on the album.
You're saying like okay, it's like cadence.
Like, kind of like
maybe you'll come in on the upbeat instead of the actual one, or you'll take a longer breath, hit a line a little harder,
longer note, or like.
So you do improv it a little bit, okay?
Just a little bit, but it's not like Jurassic where it's gonna be like, oh, this is different.
That's exactly what I did too. Yep, that's what I had to do. That's where it started, and then it came down to me running around dancing like a fag. That's what people called me, and you know what? I don't like that word, but hey, if that's what you're gonna call me, I'll take it.
Pretty bad word.
I mean, I have a lot of gay friends.
So some people are assholes. That's it.
I have a lot of gay friends, and the best part about having a lot of gay friends is that they say some of the craziest gay jokes I've ever heard in my life. They all call me homo. Every one of my gay friends calls me a homo. It's great. I love it, dude. It makes me laugh because it seems like the people who get most offended by gay jokes are gay people with gay friends. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm definitely that guy. Like somebody will say something and I'll be like, whoa, that's offensive. But like if my gay friend were to turn around and say that to me, I would just laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so weird. I don't get it.
It's different hearing it from somebody like you don't really know. And then like they say something like harsh or whatever. It's obviously a lot more offensive. But if it's like one of your friends that you've known forever and like they're cool with you, you're cool with them.
It fucks with me because I got a brother who's about 10 years younger than you. Well, about 9 years younger than you. But yeah, dude, their whole generation doesn't give a fuck. And like playing Xbox with them.
Oh, dude.
They'll say some crazy shit and I'll be like, whoa. And then they'll be like, oh, it's okay. Jimmy's gay. And he'll be like, yeah, I'm totally cool with it. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, man. I can't wait till the world is in their hands and gets out of our generation's hands. Because let's be honest, man. People 30 to 45 right now, they fucking suck.
Dude, there's kids online playing Call of Duty who are like 7 years old who are bigger fucking assholes than any of us, you know?
Get shit on! You know which one I'm talking about, that kid?
No, I don't, but
1v1 me! 1v1 me! You fucking piece of shit! I'll fucking kill you! Get shit on! Get shit on! Get shit on! Like, dude, it's a 6 or a 7 or an 8-year-old kid screaming some of the most vulgar shit you'll ever hear in your life. And then the thing I love about it is, you know how little kids, their voices distort? When they yell, it's not just the mic distorting, their voices distort. Oh my god, dude. That's why I quit playing Call of Duty back in the day.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
If I was allowed, if I was capable, I would have murdered an 11-year-old. I would have reached through that headset and I would have strangled that little shit to death.
Well, that's what the game's for. You just got to do it in the game.
Yeah, that's what I realized is once I understood what was happening to me, much like smoking, much like the quitting the smoking, right? By the way, listeners, viewers, I quit smoking cigarettes.
Congratulations. You did it, man.
It doesn't seem like much to them, because I haven't done a podcast in between then, and I'm sitting here ripping a cigar. So they're like, "Oh, cute, you quit smoking." But no, I really did. I haven't smoked in days and days and days, and I'm celebrating by having the cigar, and we're not inhaling a butt. Now that I know what I was doing and what was getting the better of me, now I'm ready to go back in, and I'm going to start streaming it, where I'm going to start trolling the 11-year-olds and getting them to lose their shit, trying to get me to lose my shit, and that's the bit. See?
It'll be a good one.
You weaponize the weakness, bruh.
Pissed off kids are hilarious.
Pissed off kids are the best. I'm gonna grab another one of these spices, dude.
Sure. Much appreciated. What do I do when I'm not doing music? Well, I guess a lot of stuff to keep me occupied. Like, I work. I work for Luce, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I worked at the one here in St. Paul for about 8.5 years. And then...
Definitely the most famous pizza place in town. Not actually the best.
It's definitely one of the more famous ones, yeah.
It's definitely the most famous.
Dude, I went to a pizza place.
I love Pizza Luce. I'm not actually talking shit. I love Pizza Luce.
For sure.
I fucking love Pizza Luce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to a pizza place over here in Northeast with my girlfriend last week, and it was a really good time.
Where'd you go?
Young Joni.
Oh, I haven't been there.
Right next to Dangerous Man. It's phenomenal.
Is that what used to be like? What was it like? Element or something like that?
I have no idea.
So Dangerous Man is here, and then it's like Kitty Corner.
No, it's like right next to it.
Oh, okay. So it's an actual different one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Element's probably still there. They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Woodfire?
Yes, Woodfire. And then like they have this Neapolitan style crust, but it's not like a Neapolitan style pizza.
Neapolitan, that's when they like leave it open.
It's
or
like,
no, that's margarita, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much like a Neapolitan. It's like it's very light dough. Not super like heavy. And usually made with like a basic sauce, like a San Marzano sauce, which is like pretty much just blended tomatoes.
It's weird because like American pizza is like American tacos. Like they're nothing like real tacos.
For sure. Oh yeah.
It's nothing like real pizza from Italy. It's nothing like a real taco from Mexico or even Spain. Like none of it's even remotely similar, but
we have to
its
American
whole own
somehow.
thing. But it's its own thing almost, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because like I get it. The American taco is not a taco. It's not.
It's a taco.
Like most people don't know, real Mexican tacos don't have cheese on them, right?
No, not necessarily.
Cheese is not a thing.
It's usually just your corn tortilla, whatever protein it is, and then cilantro and onion.
Yep. And maybe
lime on the side.
Yep, and maybe some salsa. Maybe.
Usually on the side, yeah.
Right. But let's not bullshit. The whole American taco with cheese and sour cream is fucking dope. It's awesome. Like, let's not sit here and bullshit each other.
Sure.
Just like fucking Papa John's pizza is fucking good. Parkway Pizza is fucking good. Pizza Luce is fucking good. But it's not actual pizza. Like, that's not what pizza is in Italy.
Yeah.
It's so weird, dude.
Man, I have no idea what it's even like in Italy, you know? I'd love to find out, though. See what the hype's about.
How long have you worked at Pizza Luce?
Close to 9 years.
So I'm surprised in that 9 years you haven't had your proverbial industry snob come in and teach you what the difference is.
Oh, and teach us? Yeah, whatever. We're just...
You know, that customer who comes in and he's like, listen, guys, you don't understand. And he's at the... like, you know what I'm talking about. There's always those guys.
This isn't pizza, man.
This isn't pizza. Listen, in Italy, what they really do... Listen, I went to fucking school in Britain and I learned from a real Italian, bro. Listen, this is what... Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, at that point, you're just like, cool, so what do you want to order? Why are you here?
Like, here's a great example of one. the beer snob.
Oh yeah,
So,
love those people.
oh, you know what? This isn't a real German beer because it has this in it. And here's the thing is they're actually right. It's actually true. Because in Germany, they have a law. True. German law says there's only 3 ingredients allowed in beer.
Mm.
It's your malt,
Yeah.
water, and hops. That's it. And obviously yeast, you know, because that's how you ferment it. But they don't consider that an ingredient. But that's it. And it's like, yeah, you always get those guys in those industries that come in. You know, when I worked at Guitar Center, we had the guys that would come in and here's the they usually actually know what they're talking about. And I really enjoyed listening to them because it made me better at my job and it made me understand more about what I was really doing. But most people don't like them. Most people find them highly annoying. But this one dude used to come in and talk my ear off about woods. Like, I worked at Guitar Center, and he would just come in and tell me about, like, everything about mahogany and ebony and all these crazy exotic woods and why they mattered and why they sounded good and why they were hard to find and why they were expensive and the government's role they had to play in them. No one could stand this guy. I fucking loved wasting my entire Tuesday morning with him. It was great for me.
I mean, if he could teach you something, you know, fuck it.
So, like I said, what do you do when you're not working?
What do I do
When you're not working, when you're not doing music? Or is that what you do? Are you a pizza guy? Is that what you do?
It seems like.
Is that why you went and got a job at Pizza Luce?
I have a job there because of, like, it allows me to tour for like a month and come back to a full-time gig.
I know, right?
Like, praise you. I love you, Luce. But yeah, I just kind of started there when I was young and I just never left. Like, it was like probably my second or third job ever. A couple jobs before that, didn't last very long. But I've been there since I was like 20.
So what do you do for fun?
For fun, I just started like getting into motorcycles a little bit. So I've been riding a lot this summer. But my bike is out of commission at the moment. Sucks.
What kind of bike you got?
It's a 1983 Honda Shadow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know very little about motorcycles, but I know just enough to understand what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh yes. Yeah, obviously it's my first bike, so I wasn't splurging right away, like buying a crazy expensive bike, you know, something to start out with. But maybe next year. Yeah, so super into motorcycles and super into like my pets and stuff like that. Like,
Your pets?
Oh, yeah, me and my girlfriend together, we have a lot of pets.
How many pets?
Like, just in reptiles, probably over 20.
What?
Yeah. We have a
why
like a
reptiles?
room.
Is it her thing or your thing? Who started on the reptiles?
She kind of got me started on it for sure. But it was.
You notice the theme here, boys? Chicks, they're into serpents. Yep. See.
Only the cool ones. But yeah, like I just remember like I've held reptiles.
That was a really
before in
bad
my
satanic joke in case you guys didn't get that reference.
Like my second music video with By the
just
Thousands
ribbing ya.
ever is called Clouded Eyes, and we used a crocodile for that and 2 boa constrictors, and that was my first experience ever with reptiles, and I liked it. I liked my experience with them, and I've always liked it throughout the years. And then, like,
Is it because you can relate to their cold, dead heart?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Cold to the touch, fucking Satan itself. No, I like them because it's something that, like, you don't understand them. Like, you don't know what they're thinking. So it's always kind of like, I always get like the sense of like a thrill whenever I hold one, because you never know what the fuck's gonna happen. You don't know if it's gonna like attack you or anything. Like, if it's a nice docile, like, you know, like ball python, like some constrictors can be kind of like.
You mean if it's well fed?
Yeah, if it's well fed and, you know, like,
and not
shit.
irritated.
I've had like personally, I have like 4 snakes, and yeah, they've been nothing but nice, docile to me. You know, super.
Are they expensive to feed?
No, not at all. You feed them once a week.
You feed them mice, right?
Yes, you can buy like a mouse for like $2.
So it's like $2 a week.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's kind of expensive for one snake, though. Because think about it. Hear me out. $2 a week. It's 4.3 weeks in a month. So sometimes there's 5 weeks is the point, right? So sometimes, let's just average it out to $9 a month, right? Because sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 10. A small dog like mine costs about $10 to $12 a month to feed. And I have to feed it every day.
Yep.
Like, let's just think about this. Like, that's not actually that cheap if you think about it, because like you scale that up to a pit bull, Rottweiler. Those dogs are going to cost you about $200-$300 a month to feed, and that's on the low end. Like if you want to feed them really good, high quality food, you're spending well over that. It's basically more expensive than feeding a human. No bullshit. I'm not even exaggerating that. Like, I know because I got friends who raise fucking high-end dogs.
Nice.
If you have a fucking 140 pound, well, that's a huge dog, but you get my point. You got a legit Rottweiler, a legit pit bull, and you're feeding them really high-end protein food. You're looking at for $500 a month. Like,
so it is a little.
It's got to be like that, right? Like, because you said 20 snakes.
Yeah, like we don't have 20 snakes, but we have like
reptiles.
Reptiles. Yeah.
So some of them eat crickets.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of them are crickets.
What's the coolest reptile you have? And why is it a Komodo dragon? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nobody has a Komodo dragon except zoos. Isn't there like 8 of them on the planet? Seriously?
I have no idea.
I think they're like one of the most rare things on the planet. I think there's like 8 of them, and the Como Zoo has one.
Really?
I think. I might be making that up, but I think Komodo dragons are super rare. So all jokes aside, what's the coolest reptile you do have?
I guess it's just different morphs of snakes. Like we don't have like a bunch of ball pythons, you know what I mean, and a bunch of boa constrictors. No, we have like a couple ball pythons. We have like a boa constrictor. We have a black Mexican king snake. We got a couple corn snakes.
Why's he gotta be black, bro?
Because he's literally like solid black.
He's a black Mexican
king snake.
King snake.
Yeah,
dude, that shit someday, that is gonna be a canceled snake. Seriously, there's so many trigger words in that name of that snake. It's a female, but it's called a black Mexican king. Oh man,
well, king snake is like the.
I know, I get it, bro. I'm just having fun. I'm just saying, dude. Someday that's gonna be a target, dude.
Could be.
I mean, I'm for real, dude. Like it's just getting out of control. Everything's getting canceled nowadays. You know, they're trying to go after Dave Chappelle.
Oh, really?
They're trying to say Dave Chappelle is a pawn of the white man. I'm not even exaggerating this. These are the articles that are coming out now. I'm like, y'all are tripping, man. It's gotten too far. It's getting crazy. That's why when you say black Mexican king snake, you're talking about something that is like scientifically, anthropologically named, and even me, it's impossible to actually offend me, and even I got a little cringed there. And it's like black Mexican king snake. I'm like, ooh, there's a YouTube violation. Like for real. I'm not even joking. Like I don't care, but I'm like, oh fuck, now I got to deal with that because that's gonna get flagged by the algorithm for racism because you said black Mexican. It's like, oh my god, dude. Yeah. So someday, I guarantee you, we fucking. Oh nope, that's Benji.
We'll see. Also got an all white snake if that makes things better.
No, that's worse. That's white supremacy, dude. Does it have red eyes?
No.
So it's not even albino. It chooses that. I'm just kidding, dude.
Just gotta tell the snakes, man, just be yourself.
Just don't tell them all snake lives matter.
Oh yes.
Just don't tell them that, because that'll get dark real quick. All jokes aside, do you have other reptiles that aren't snakes?
Yeah, we have like a bunch of lizards, like geckos and frogs.
So are they just easier to take care of? Are they more interesting? Like what draws you to a reptile versus especially a collection of them versus like, I don't know, because I'm curious. I seen this chick and I found her super interesting. She has a couple macaws. I thought they were parrots. Like, it's the cliche parrot, but apparently it's a macaw. I don't know if it's.
I've never heard.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's what all parrots really are called, or if these are a specific breed of parrots. But when you and I, as Americans, imagine a parrot, that's what these fucking things look like. We know people that have had them. Like, they're even right here in Minnesota, like living in the suburbs. Some fucking chick, some dude, their mom had birds, and one was a fucking parrot, right? Well, that's what this chick's macaws look like, and she has a pair of them. I follow her on TikTok.
It's probably like something from the parent, or not the parent, but like the parrot like family, like just based
probably
on a different
right
part of the world or something.
But I just think it's super interesting how like we get caught up in like, oh, I'm a dog person, I'm a cat person, but there's like bird people and reptile people, and like this chick. Her TikTok is so interesting to me that like I actually am like, that would be kind of cool. Like if I had fuck you money, get a couple of these kind of birds, like, because she like brings them out. She's got like this crazy sunroof that opens that she can like walk out on, almost like it's a balcony, and she brings them out on her hands and throws them up into the air, and they just fly around the block.
That's crazy.
Like 2, 3, 4 times, and then they come back in and land right back on her hands.
So cool.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, that's fucking cool.
It is.
I've never ever thought owning birds would be cool, ever, until I seen this chick's TikTok. Right? I know buddies who've owned snakes, spiders, fucking iguanas, all kinds of crazy shit. That's what I'm curious about. Like, so what would be that weird, unique thing that drew you to reptiles versus cats or chickens?
Dude, I just think they're so cool. Like,
what do you think most people don't understand is cool though? Like that thing. Like, for example, chick, she can. No, I don't think anybody has ever considered this, including me. If you have a bird that truly like wants to be your bird, you can let it go. And it'll fly around and do its thing like a dog does when you bring it to the dog park, and it comes back and chills with you because it fucking loves you. I never knew you could have that relationship with a bird. What is the equivalent of like that for reptiles? There's something cool that you're drawn to that the rest of us don't get.
It's cool because it's not like your typical household pet.
That's what I'm getting. Yeah, what is it?
It's a whole culture out there, like the reptile culture. Like it goes way deeper than what it actually is. Like when you
explain it to me. That's what I'm curious about.
Man, it's like,
so what drew you in? Start from the beginning.
Like I think my first reptile experience with like my music video with By the Thousands Clouded Eyes was like my first reptile experience, and I've known people who've had them, like bearded dragons and stuff like that just chill on your shoulder. It's just cool, man. It's like something. It's not a cat and it's not a dog. It's not something that's typical. It's not something you see all the time, and I think that's the reason why I like it. It's just like, hey, this is interesting. Like, I don't know, like I can chill with my snake and it'll just like chill on my shoulder, or like I'll like curl up into like my arms or whatever. It'll just hang out, and that's what I kind of like. That it's like an animal that will just chill with you. Something you can like veg out with, hang out.
Yeah, but you can do that with cats too.
I know, but this is a fucking snake, dude.
That's what I'm curious. I'm not mocking you. I'm not talking shit. I'm trying to figure it out because, like I said, no one would have been able to explain this to me until I seen it on this bitch's TikTok about these birds.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool.
I
Never would have thought of that.
Man, I just love animals like as it is. Like I would have so much more. Like I kind of want a raccoon, like shit like that. They're fucking cool, man.
You know, the one that grabs me is the otter. You ever see the sea otters?
Mm-hmm.
When people domesticate the sea otters, it's kind of like a cross between a person and a dog. They're fucking cool, dude.
They are cool.
They
man.
have like emotions. They have personalities. They eat with their hands.
They're smart as hell.
They'll grab shit. Like they'll fetch like a dog, but with their hands. So they'll pick shit up. Like this one dude trained his otter to go grab him a beer. Like I've seen dogs do, but it's cooler with an otter because it uses its hand to open it, grabs a beer, it walks over and hands it to you. Dude, sea otters are fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
And when you bathe them, you just put them in your bathtub and they do their own shit. Like, you can teach them to literally bathe themselves. You give them a special soap that they love to fuck with, and they like sit there and hilarious,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
My buddy Jamal, he's been on the podcast a few times. I got to get Jamal on again. I've reached out to him. It was so funny. I tried to get him on in like September, and then I just got booked up because he didn't respond fast enough. And then I hit him up in October, and then he didn't respond fast enough, so I got booked up again. And now I've hit him up a couple more times, and he stopped responding. I think he thinks like I'm fucking with him, and I'm like, nah, dude, I just book quick, But he raises a lot of animals, but they're like it's like chickens and ducks and shit like that. And
chickens are hilarious.
He was explaining to me, he's like, they have a whole thing that happens that no human understands unless you have chickens. Like, you'll never see it on TV, you'll never read about it in books. Like, you have to be there, which is one of the things people don't understand is they're fucking carnivores. Like, you think chickens just eat seed and they but, dude, they hunt mice.
Oh yeah.
Like,
they'll shred them
they're
up, man.
tiny dinosaurs. Like, they're vicious killers.
Yep. You see them? Chickens have large talons.
Dude, chickens are fucking brutal, bro. All right, I got to take a leak. Let's play another song.
Do it.
Which one should we do? Cold Spots? Is that what this one is?
Do it.
Or Hot Spots?
Cold spot.
Cold Spots?
Yep.
Cold Sores?
No, it's like cold spots, like when you walk through a haunted house and there's like a certain part of the house that's haunted. You're like, oh, it's a cold spot.
Clever boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's from? Clever boy. It's 300.
No.
Remember when they go see the Oracle at the top of the mountain?
Oh yeah.
And he catches her talking her bullshit, and she's like, ooh, clever boy. Too bad the world's already being fought.
I thought you were referencing Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's
Clever Girl.
That's Clever Girl.
Yeah.
Clever Girl.
Great movie.
It's actually a terrible movie, but
Jurassic Park?
Yeah. I love it, but if you actually like measure it and look at it, it's actually not very good.
Shoot!
It was a fucking game changer when it came out, though. Cold Spots! Unmute the mics. Dude, I'm having such a good time chilling with you, buddy.
Same, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for the
Fucking-
cigars, even though I suck at smoking it, apparently.
It's all good, dude.
Arnold
I
will be
appreciate
ashamed
it.
of me.
No, I appreciate it, man. That's why, I mean, granted, I'm not rich either, but that's why I wouldn't buy like super high end cigars. But yeah, dude, I'm fucking wrapping up Sober October, and out of nowhere, I quit smoking. So I was like, dude, let's celebrate, man. Let's have some fucking gars, dude. Plus, I also got really sick last week. I got like every fall, I get a really bad sinus infection.
Okay.
Allergies.
Yep.
And this year, it fucked me up. If I didn't know any better, I'd have thought I had fucking Rona.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
it was brutal. It was really bad, man. And yeah, it just kind of all worked out. I was already in Sober October, quit smoking, and didn't do a podcast at all for an entire week. And then this week, I decided I didn't feel 100% physically or mentally because I was in the middle of all that.
Mhm.
So I was like, let's bump the podcast because he had some issues anyways. I was like, but you know what? Come Thursday, Hondo's coming on. I'm going to feel great, you know, because yesterday I was already feeling pretty good. So yeah, I'm
What
fucking
was
honored.
the biggest challenge when you did the Sober October? The biggest temptations?
That's a great question. I think the hardest part of Sober October for me is always the first few days when I'm either doing that first podcast or there's a sporting event or it's either that or something to do with a dinner. Like my wife will decide to fucking make steaks or buy steaks and I'll grill them or something will happen where I'm like, this would be the best meal for a beer right now.
or during the process of grilling, you want a beer.
Yep. It's shit like that. But once I'm like 3 days in, the drinking thing wasn't an issue.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's true last October, the October before that. When I did my little thing in April, it was pretty much the same thing. I just deliberately decided in the middle of my April, I went to Texas.
Okay.
And when I was in Texas, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this while I'm in Texas. Like, I'm not going to be in Texas doing what I'm doing down here and sit here and be sober. I don't want to. Like, it wasn't that I couldn't. It was like, this is dumb.
Were you in Austin?
No, I was
Party city right there.
No, I was in North Dallas, but I was down there doing podcast stuff, meeting people and networking and figuring some shit out for some future endeavors. And yeah, I was like, this is fucking dumb. I'm not doing this. Plus I found a cigar bar. It was the greatest thing ever. It was like literally I would roll in, you'd buy a cigar, order some beer, sit there and watch sports. I watched the fucking was it the Gophers? Or was it St. Cloud State? Went to the Frozen Four, lost to Boston. I think we lost to BCU. But either way, like all the way down in Texas, I got them to put that on one screen for me. So I'm one random asshole in the middle of a fucking Texas afternoon in April screaming at the television, fucking put the fucking pucks on the net, boys. Let's go fucking Top Cheese Bar, you fucking hosers. Just dropping Letterkenny references. No one understands what I'm saying. Yeah, fucking oh, dude, yeah. I haven't watched Letterkenny in a while, so my fucking Letterkenny references are a little rusty, but
I haven't watched all of it, but I've seen a good amount. It's pretty funny.
Well, and you grew up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Did you were you born with the proverbial skates on your feet?
No, I wasn't.
You know what that means, right?
Like ice skates?
Yeah, but it means regardless of whether you like hockey or not, you better fucking know how to skate, because at some point in time, that's what all your friends are going to want to do.
Dude, I still don't know how to
No
skate.
Shit. So I mean, you escaped without the skates.
Yeah, it's like
oh.
Yeah, I never like grew up ice skating or anything, you know, like I think my thing when I was a kid was biking around. Yeah, skateboarding when I was a teenager, but never like ice skating, never rollerblading. Like shit, I wish I could. Like I've seen people like fly down the street in rollerblades looks fucking fun. But you know
the worst part about rollerblading?
What's up?
Having to tell your parents you're gay. that one single joke ended the entire industry of rollerblading. Like that was it. Every kid went home and took their rollerblades and just threw them in the garbage that summer when that joke came out. That was it. That ended it. Because we even tried to rename it and call it inline skating, and it survived for a while. Nope, that shit's dead. It's basically figure skating in the summer in the city. That's what it is. Yeah, that shit died. I loved it. I loved inline skating. That's what we called it.
Yeah, we're soul skaters, bro.
I loved it, dude. I did that shit like you wouldn't even believe. My dream for the longest time before I decided I was still playing football. I hadn't become a musician yet, but I was starting to fuck around with guitar. And I legitimately wanted to be an athlete still, and it was like I thought I was going to play baseball or football or something, but like the other thing I secretly wanted to do was be like a professional inline skater like you seen on X Games, because it was actually cool for a while.
Yeah,
before that joke happened that one summer.
And it's intense, man. Like I can barely stand up on rollerblades. Like, dude, I
really
purchased brand new rollerblades like last year or something like that, because I did want to like pick it up, you know, like, and I thought it was gonna be fun. Fucking, you know, going to the tennis court, you know, because that's smooth pavements and stuff like that. I can't get a grip on it. can't fucking do it.
Yeah, it's weird, dude, because like if you just buy rollerblades, right, the wheels are made of like plastic, so you just slide, and it's not good, right, until you break those wheels in, and then you learn you got to go like buy wheels, and then it's about bearings, and then you remove the brake entirely, and then you replace, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know, $1,500 into a fucking pair of basically ice skates, but for the summer. Is what's super weird is that, I mean, and it makes perfect sense, but it got invented so guys could practice playing hockey in the summer.
Yeah.
And then people started doing tricks on them.
Yep. Started getting those really super thick rollerblades for like grinding, like half of the side of it's like super flat.
Yep. Yeah, I forget what all that shit was called, man, but there's a period of time from somewhere between 12... No, I was younger than that. I was like 10 to 13. It was skateboarding, rollerblading, inline skating, whatever you want to call it, and dirt biking. Obsessed with those three things. Obsessed.
That'd be fun. I'd never like grew up with dirt bikes or like, you know, snowmobiles or any of that stuff. But,
I mean, that's what you did if you were in the suburbs in Minnesota. That's all you had to do. Because back then, because again, I'm just a little bit older than you, but there's a big difference in that 9-10 years.
There is.
Because we both grew up in the suburbs. And in the suburbs, there was a huge transition happening from literally farm and field to like city. So where I grew up in the suburbs, when I grew up, you would go across one road called 89th Avenue, and there was a church there called St. Tim's Church. And anything beyond St. Tim's Church was nothing but field. Nothing but field. I mean, you could go all the way to fucking North Branch, Minnesota without hitting a main road. You'd cross a bunch of dirt roads on the way there, but you could just take a fucking mini bike. A kid, a child could drive a mini bike from Blaine to North Branch. By the time you were that same age, that had all been filled in. A nature reserve had been built. Like there was entire sections you just couldn't get through anymore, and still a lot of area. 10 years later, by the time the next generation, none of that was there. It was all developments. It was all neighborhoods. Like none of it was happening. And that's Blaine now, basically. Fucking completely different. And that's all you had to do back then. Like, you dirt biked, and if you were into hockey, then maybe you played some pickup games in the street, and that's where the rollerblading and inline skating came in. But if not, then during the winter, we're fucking... I mean, I remember in the suburbs in Minnesota, when I was a kid, just like right there in Blaine, Coon Rapids, almost every kid in their backyard had a hockey rink. Their dad would go out there and like put up boards and flood it and fucking... We'd have... I mean, that's just what you did. I didn't even fucking like hockey, and I had to learn how to play it. I got really good at it too. I fucking hated it for years. I didn't like it until I wasn't playing it anymore. Until I was a grown-ass adult.
Yeah.
I started liking hockey again.
I don't follow a lot of sports, but I do enjoy them. You know what I mean? Like I'll watch a hockey game and love it. And you know, I like hockey. Baseball is another one for me. I like going to baseball games. You know, still don't like keep up with it very much, but
going to a baseball game is great though.
Yeah, it is.
That's the best part about baseball. You don't need to even fucking like it. It's not even about that. It's about being outside, drinking a beer, eating a hot dog.
Or a nacho helmet.
Oh, the nacho helmet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So sick.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that new Twin Stadium, so sick.
It's so funny. We still call it the new Twin Stadium.
Even though it's like 10 years old.
It's 10 or 15 years old now.
Yep.
But it is so much nicer than the Metrodome. Did you ever go to a game at the Metrodome?
Yep. Man, back in the day.
They were cool. Like when the Twins were doing well, the Metrodome was a cool place to be. Same thing with the Vikings. It was a cool stadium, but it was a shithole.
Yeah.
It was loud, but it was a shithole. And that new Twin Stadium is fucking beautiful, man.
It is.
You get a nice summer day, you go out there. It is like
all the fireworks that happen when like home runs happen.
it
So-
epitomizes the cliche of America during the summer. You go out there, you get a beer, a hot dog, even if it's a night game or if it's a day game, fireworks, whatever. There's just something nostalgic about it, man.
There is.
It's so weird how we can like summarize our entire country in an event. Like, what is America? Like, I can tell you what America is. Midsummer, going to a baseball game, drinking a beer, eating a hot dog, sitting in the sunshine. That's America.
America's passing time, baseball.
I don't think anybody would argue with you if you were to say that. Describe America. If you described it that way, Americans would be like, yeah, that's
Pretty America, yeah.
That's America. That's America's fuck, bro.
Add freedom in there somewhere.
Fucking freedom.
Yeah, it is a definition.
What else? What else can we come up with? Like, what other moments or things like that can we describe them? Like, what's the trend? Describe America without describing America.
4th of July.
4th of July is a big
That
one.
day in
Grilling,
general.
fireworks,
Grilling, fireworks.
and beer.
Yep, lots of beer.
Beer, fireworks, grilling, for sure. NFL Sunday.
Going to the lake, you know, stuff like that.
NFL Sunday is a big one. But again, why? Well, football game on the TV, right? Mini weenies. We're grilling them up, right? Barbecuing something. Okay. We're grilling something. And beer.
Wings.
And wings and beer. There's a theme. There's a theme quickly showing up here in all of these things. Beer.
Yeah. Let's just say America is beer.
Thanksgiving.
But it's light beer.
Turkey. Pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm.
And beer.
Stuffing.
And beer. Stuffing and beer.
Mm-hmm.
God, I fucking love stuffing. That is hands down my favorite Thanksgiving thing.
It's so good. I would get just a bowl of it.
I know, right?
Stuffing, pour some gravy on it. Feel gross afterwards.
Dude, mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, and the turkey all at once.
Dude, I always find a way to like make it into a sandwich, you know, like fucking mashed potato spread.
Bro, a pulled turkey sandwich, like post Thanksgiving, the fucking the pulled. You take those cold shitty chunks of turkey no one wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You grab a couple forks, you shred them up, so you pull all that, put it back together. A little bit of mayo, you put that turkey down, a little bit of cheese, and then salt that motherfucker. Throw another piece of bread on that bitch. That's poor people post Thanksgiving food right there, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Oh, it's good as fuck. But you have to salt it with the mayo. The key is if you don't salt it, it's just kind of whatever. But if you put the right amount of salt on there and then slap that cheese on there with that mayo, and you eat it cold too. You don't heat it back up. That's the whole point. It's cold. It's fucking, it's just like you make a fucking...
Like a cold turkey salad.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking love it, man. I fucking love
podcast. I can talk about food all day.
Could you?
I do love me some food.
Are you a cooker? Do you cook?
I do, but every time I do it, I just feel like I fail.
What do you mean?
Like I fail at home. When I'm at work, it's easy, you know. But it is. But it's also something that's second nature to me. Like,
can you do pizza at home?
Yeah,
and it's bomb as fuck.
It's all right.
Do you have any secrets
I feel like
you can
a lot
share?
of like ingredients that like we get delivered through like our food service truck or whatever is a lot better than what you can get at the grocery store. You know, so it's like I feel like your cooking ability is very
dough?
limited to like the ingredients that you get. If it's good ingredients, it's probably gonna turn out pretty good.
So what's so much better? The dough, the cheese, like what ingredients are so much better?
I feel like the sauce is a big thing. Sauce.
Oh, really?
The cheese is also a big thing. Like dough. Yeah, it's can be a big thing. Like when it comes to like.
But you could make
flavor-wise.
some dope dough.
Me personally, I haven't
Or a person.
made like a lot of like dough in my life, but I could probably whip something up.
But that other shit, like the cheese and the sauce.
I feel like the cheese and the sauce and like just whatever ingredients that you put
pull
on
that a
should
little
be-
bit. Yeah, there you go.
should be, top tier. It's gonna taste a lot better if it's like something that's fresh versus like something that's been processed and something that's been sitting in a bag forever.
So one thing this dude told me way back in the day is he goes, I swear to God, this is like the weirdest sneaky secret to making good pizza at home is when you get your dough out, you have to sprinkle a tiny little bit of sugar before you put down the sauce, and then when you put down the cheese, before you put down any of the meats, a little bit more, and he's talking like a couple pinches, and then your shit, and then halfway through its cooking cycle, pull it out. Same thing, another pinch of sugar. It's this tiny amount of sugar at different levels throughout the thing that
so you can get the
allow
savory and the sweet.
he described something about like balancing like the acidity and like all this other shit. And here's the point: is he literally did it back to back, and he was just doing them quick in his toaster oven. He was a meth head, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, those dudes.
Yeah.
But he was a really good cook. He was a really fucking good cook. And he was on this fucking pizza thing. And he made the same pizza back to back, side by side, one with the sugar in it, one without. And he was right. The one with the sugar. And then when I later went and worked at Papa John's, I found out they put sugar in their dough. And like, that's why a lot of people make homemade pizza and it kind of tastes like shit. There's no sugar been added anywhere in that, whereas Papa John's and a lot of these other places, there's either sugar in the sauce or there's sugar in the dough. There's sugar somewhere in some of those ingredients to do the same thing this dude was basically figuring out and
Or
explaining.
some
to
ingredient that's like really sweet. I've seen like a lot of pizzas being made with like honey, like being glazed with honey, which is kind of weird, but it's also good.
Yeah, because don't they say it's like 3 or 4 things, right? It's like fat, acid, sugar, and something else, right?
I have no idea.
There's a whole Netflix thing about like how everything that tastes good is just a mixture of these 4 things.
Okay.
It's like salt, fat, acid, and something else. I can't remember what it is, but if you don't create the right ratio of those 4 things, it tastes like shit. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's
bland,
a dessert. It doesn't matter if it's an entree. It doesn't matter if it's breakfast. It doesn't matter if it's dinner. Everything that we think is good you're always just trying to figure out a ratio of these 4 things. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you guys can throw it in the comments, but same thing with barbecue. It's the same thing with like wings, like buffalo sauce.
Has to be like sweet, savory, like also like a little spice.
Yeah, it's weird because like, yeah, there's like fat and acid. So like buffalo sauce is a great example because you have fat because of the butter, right? You have acid because of the vinegar. And then there's other shit going on in there. And then you can switch up these ratios dramatically, like brewing beer, or growing weed, or all these. It's not like baking, where baking has to be exact in order to make it good. But even within baking, you're still fucking with this ratio of fat, acid, salt, and sugar, whatever the 4 things are.
So you also, like, since you make beer and everything, like, what do you like look for, like, as an end product? Like, what do you expect to like taste like in a perfect beer? You know,
That's a great question.
Like, what do you expect
when I'm making a beer, or when I'm drinking a beer?
When you create one, like
when I create one,
what do you want your end product to be?
So I'd start out with an idea first.
Okay.
So I want to create a beer like this. So, one that I've been Okay, we'll use one. We'll use one that we kind of talked about earlier, like a spicy beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked spicy beer to begin with, and I also liked chocolate stouts.
Yeah,
I loved the idea of making a chocolate beer because I love chocolate, right?
It tastes like chocolate milk.
Yeah, right. And
Delicious.
I can get drunk. I was like, what? So
I know Founders makes a really good oatmeal stout that's really comparable to chocolate milk.
Okay, perfect, right? And then Dangerous Man made a coconut milk stout, which was like just crazy good, right?
Mm.
So I started learning how to make a really good chocolate milk stout.
Nice.
So you learn how to ingrade or inbreed, whatever you want to call it. You learn how to infuse, I think is the right word for it, the chocolate into the beer to get that essence and aroma. And then you start learning how to like put in lactose, which gives it the frothy, milky head, the big, thick, gets on your mustache and stays there as foam, almost like a latte. You start learning those things. And then I got obsessed with spicy beer. So I wanted to literally make what I would call a Mexican hot chocolate beer. So I created a jalapeno serrano chocolate milk stout.
That sounds amazing.
It was fucking awesome, right? And then it was just a matter of figuring out, much like what we were talking about with these other food ideas. Well, you understand you need a balance of alcohol. You need a certain balance of sweetness and bitterness to balance out your end deal. And so it's just about ratios, right? So it's like, I know I want to have a spicy, chocolatey, frothy, dark stout. How do you do that and balance those ratios?
So do you like start out by like making like the chocolate stout and then you add like jalapenos to it like halfway through the brewing process? Or
pretty much, yeah. And then you just, through experience and through fucking around, you kind of learn like when to add certain things. And so the easiest part was actually making the whole, so the hardest part was making a good chocolate milk stout. The easiest part was making it spicy, because you just waited until the very end and you didn't put it in the brew. You waited until everything was done and I kegged it, and then I had an extra bag, a separate bag, a muslin bag full of chopped up peppers with the seeds and everything. And you sat those in vodka for a couple days, so they were completely 100% sterilized. The bag, everything is sterilized. There's nothing that could possibly contaminate this beer. And then you open up the keg of beer and you drip dry in basically a vacuum, right? So like you have to build this little container where you can drip dry, because I don't want vodka and alcohol added to the beer. I just want the pepper flavor, the extract. So you figure out how to drip dry, and then you just take that entire sterilized bag of peppers and you just set them in the beer. Oddly enough, the longer
you bag kind of a thing.
Like but you do it in a keg. In a cheesecloth, in a muslin bag. And then oddly enough, the longer you leave them in, the more subtle the burn. So if you want it really spicy, you put way more peppers in for a lower amount of time.
Okay.
If you want it to be just kind of like a little light aftertaste, it doesn't matter how many you put in, you just leave them in there for a really long time, because the alcohol will get rid of that.
Makes sense.
Super weird, right? My favorite one, the most challenging one, I'm still have never mastered, and it's going to be the next one I go after when I decide to do one, is I'm going to do a similar idea, but it's going to be a cherry. I want to do like a dark cherry, crazy dark, thick, like I seen this TikTok of this kid. He's like telling jokes to his dad, and he's like, "Yeah, Dad, so this girl came up and she gave me a Valentine's Day, and it said, 'Hey, will you be my Valentine's Day?' Check yes or no, or and then there was another area where you could write, like your own answer, right? And so I just like grabbed it and I wrote not thick enough and gave it back. And it's like a fourth grader. It's like a fourth grade kid being like, not thick enough. Dude, I just had me dying. Dude, and that completely brought back up the entire inspiration and idea behind this beer. Was like, I want to create a beer so thick that like, man, it's something else. And it's basically like you want to have a romantic evening with your girl, your wife, whatever, in front of a fire. She wants to drink wine, but you're trying to have like beer. Right. But you don't want to fucking open up a Miller High Life or a Coors Light. Like you want to have something special, right? So this is like a super dark, low carbonated beer,
kind of like
that you pour out of a big ass bottle. And there's two of them in there. There's two beers.
Like a cherry mead?
Yeah, but way darker than that. Way thicker than a mead. Way heavier than a mead. Like high alcohol, real beer, like almost like a Guinness, but it's got a deep, rich chocolate cherry flavor to it, to where literally you drink two of these, you're hammered. Like it's like a bottle of wine at that point. Are you trying to
go for like the box chocolate, like cherry chocolates?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, and it's a really rich, really bitter, like you're going to be dehydrated. Like you're going to probably want like a glass of water on the side to fucking keep going. Because like, yeah, this is like cabin, you and your girl, isolated, romantic. I've tried 3 times and it's always a little off. Like the hardest thing is getting that... the thickness, like I said, not thick enough. That's what reignited it into my mind. Was dude, that fucking TikTok has me dying, and I might even quote that TikTok and put it on the description.
On the can,
yeah.
Fucking not QR thick code enough. To the direct link of it.
Exactly, dude. That's genius, bro. Cheers. That's genius. QR code to the TikTok that inspired the beer.
Yeah.
Not thick enough. And it's just this little kid.
So you love beer. How did you like the BTT beer?
It was awesome. Nice. I was super upset when John didn't bring any to the podcast because it sold out so quick. Wasn't his fault. More. Wasn't his fault. Incredibly good beer, dude. It was a hazy. It was a hazy. It was really fucking good, man. It was right on that fucking milkshake.
Almost mimosa-ish.
Yeah, dude, but it was thick enough.
it was thick enough.
That's my jam, dude. The spicy ones and then the milkshakes, dude. You can get these milkshake IPAs now that are fucking incredibly good, dude. Have you had any of these? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Milkshake IPAs? I'm not sure.
All right.
I know I've seen like on beer menus at breweries, like milkshake, like whatever.
Some of them are hit or miss. Do you like fruity shit?
I can. Like, there's a Fair State has like a Roselle that's really good. It's like super tort.
All right, here's what we got to do.
Yeah.
We'll do another podcast, but this time we'll do you, Dustin, and John. Okay.
Sipping on brews.
We'll do so, and we'll do some fucking crazy weird beers. That's what we'll do. We'll do it up. We'll do it up, dude. It'll be good. It'll be real good. A bunch
of different kinds, like pickle beer.
Oh, pickle beer's good.
Dude, it is. I am a huge fan of whiskey with... Oh, sorry. I'm a huge fan of whiskey with a pickleback.
Me too, bro.
Like a pickle chaser. It's so good.
Do you know how many people think we're insane for saying that?
I just don't think they've tried it yet.
It's so good.
It is.
Whiskey shot with a pickleback chaser. It is oddly more refreshing in certain ways than like tequila with a salt and lime, that whole thing.
Which is my jam. I love tequila.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
So good.
I love tequila, and I only like whiskey if we do the pickleback. Then I love whiskey. I'll sit here and I don't even do whiskey shots. I do whiskey sips with pickleback shots. And then a shot of fucking pickle juice. I love pickle juice.
Another good thing with whiskey, it's like my favorite summertime drink. It's like just whiskey and lemonade.
Oh, no shit.
It's fire. Delicious.
Never done that.
Oh, try it.
Whiskey with
Lemonade.
just straight lemonade.
Yeah, it's called a whiskey lemonade.
Do you mix it? Or you do the shots?
No, it's you mix it.
Oh, okay.
It's like a mixed
It's a drink.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense.
It is good.
That actually
Nice hot
makes
summer
sense.
day. Like not overwhelming. Like the whiskey isn't gonna like make you feel like sick or anything. You know, because like, when you drink whiskey on a hot day, you know, you start to feel like gross.
Makes sense though, because with the lemonade you're getting a ton of salt
Mm-hmm.
and electrolytes right back into your system.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the vitamin C is going to give. Yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. Next time you're out at a
I
bar,
like
man,
it.
grab one for me.
I'm definitely going to do it. You guys are playing Saturday?
We are playing Saturday with Reflections.
Where?
Amsterdam Bar in St. Paul. It's Reflections
sold
comeback
out?
show. It's not sold out, but I can.
You sure?
Uh,
It's probably sold out. But if it's not, where can people go for tickets?
You can always go to Leo Presents or
Oh, you guys are working with Leo on that one, huh?
yeah, he is.
That's not his real
booking
name.
the
but
show.
That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
We'll just call him Leo. That guy is both loved. Bobby is both loved and hated on this scene.
I love him. He's done good things for us. So
I have nothing but good things to say about Bobby,
yeah, there you go.
but a lot of people who've been on this podcast do not. And he won't come on this podcast because I think he thinks I'm friends with all the people that hate him. And so I think because he's done other podcasts, so I know he'll do podcasts, but he said no to this one. And I think he thinks it's because I'm not on his side. I don't think he really understands that, like, I get the business, dude. Like, yeah, you're not gonna make everybody happy.
Right.
But-
It's a tough business to please everybody, that's for sure.
Well, and especially not only doing his job, but also like where I'm at, I kind of have to be Switzerland. Like, I don't get when you guys have feuds, I don't get to pick sides. You know what I mean? Like, I'm friends with all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I always try to keep it like that way too, you know, like I don't like picking sides thing, really. Like there's things where I feel stronger about.
plus I'm older than all of you. So 9 times out of 10, I think you're all being idiots. Like that's honestly, here's the thing is like usually none of you are actually 100% right.
Right.
I watch all of you guys have your little feuds from afar, and 9 times out of 10, I side with each of you on one issue, and then immediately understand why the other person's wrong on the other issues. Meaning, you're all fucking right, and you're all fucking wrong, and you need to get your shit together and get back to being a band. Fucking, I'm really worried about the Stormbreaker boys. Fucking, apparently, Billy's not in the band anymore. I don't know if you guys know who they are.
I've seen the name float around a lot, but
They're fucking good, dude. They're good, and they're doing some really fucking good shit, dude. And they just parted ways with one of their founding members, one of the main guitar players. And I, for one, am not
It's
cool
always
with
a
it.
bummer, man.
I'm not cool with it. Sounds like it may not be fixable. Sounds like it may not be anybody's fault. But when you lose members like that, it can quickly end a band. Like, you might still struggle on for 2 more years, but your band died a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it freaks me out.
Is it to a point where there's just like no original members left, or is it like
That's when it gets the worst.
yes?
No, I think they still have one original member left. I think it's the drummer now. I think the drummer is the only original member.
Holding it down.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I hope they can fix it because I think that original lineup is the right lineup, but doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah, it's always a.
You guys just went through a drummer change.
Yes,
Luckily,
we
it
did.
sounds like that's not hurting you guys too bad.
No. Yeah, Carlos decided to leave for his personal reasons and everything, which we can also respect. We love that guy no matter what. He's always going to be our brother. And with Matt coming in, you know, it was a surprisingly just like super easy like transition, like super solid dude, like automatically, like that's like one of the first things I look for, like how are you as a person. He's super nice guy, and I couldn't ask for anything else. And because, you know, it's important because like we go out on the road with these people for like weeks on end sometimes, and like it's important, like you gotta vibe with everybody, and he came in and felt natural, you know.
Yeah,
which is good.
You guys knew him for a little
he's
bit, right?
Obviously a fucking phenomenal drummer as well.
But he wasn't just some new random asshole who came out of nowhere. You guys knew him.
He was from the scene. He he played for a band called Buried Above Ground for very brief, and then he was also just like, can't think of the band name. Sorry, Matt. Right away. It starts with an I. But yeah, he's been in the scene, and he's like been close.
I know who you're talking about. It starts with an I.
Mm-hmm.
Intervals.
No.
Not intervals. Are you sure?
Yes. It's not intervals. Intervals is
the look you just gave me was like, yes, you dumb stupid piece of shit.
No. Intervals is Aaron Lewis. No, Aaron Marshall. Sorry. He is a phenomenal guitar player. But he's gonna slap me for this one, but I can't think of it.
He's probably watching. Throw it in chat. Throw it in chat, dude. Unless you guys are so uncommitted you can't subscribe and hang out for 20 minutes. We had to put that on there. So unless people have subscribed for 20 minutes, they can't comment. Dude, because I was getting some wild shit in chat. Dude.
I bet, man.
We're not even a big channel. We only have 300 subs, and I was already getting weird shit in chat.
It happens.
We just got to make sure y'all are committed, man. We have the weirdest channel ever, dude. So we have like 300 and something subs on YouTube, which is extremely small, right? Surprisingly more than a lot of other channels. Like, it blew me away how hard it was to get to 300 subs. Like, there's more channels out there with less than 300 subs than there are channels with more than 300 subs. Hard as that is to believe. It's true. There's more channels with less than 300 subs than there are channels with more than 300 subs. It's extremely hard to even get to this point. But our YouTube is like it's a fraction of what we do on audio. So we do it live on YouTube, but then we upload this and we go to iTunes and Spotify and all that shit, dude. And we have and it grows so fast. Like, we're already close to 2,000 subscribers on the audio side, which is cool. Still an extremely small number. Not even impressive in any respect. 2,000, even if you added them together, 2,300 subscribers. Not impressive. But is what is super cool and what is impressive is the reach. So we got motherfuckers all over the world that listen to this podcast.
That's awesome.
4 people in this country, 8 people in that country, 17 people in this country. That's what's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether you're talking to a lot of people, we are casting a super wide net.
Whereas like a destination or like a location where you have listeners that you never thought would ever reach.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Where would a example of that be?
So there's a lot of them. But if I had to name one, like just a random one, I kind of want to look it up just so I don't say the wrong one.
Like New Zealand?
I mean, we have a listener or two in New Zealand. We've got them in all of the. I'm trying to think of like one where I would have. Where to answer your question, you said where I wouldn't have expected somebody there.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, check it out. We have a listener over there.
I would say Iraq.
All right, right on.
Iraq or Iran, because we have a few in that whole area. I would say it's one of them. Or the Philippines or Singapore. I definitely was not surprised when we popped in like Germany or France or Sweden or anywhere where metal is popular, any European nation where metal was popular. Uruguay was pretty weird to see that pop up. There's a bunch of them, dude. There's a bunch of weird little ones where I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Right on.
Didn't expect that to happen. And then there's, of course, the China and Russia, where I, like, me being me, if anybody watches this podcast knows, I was like, I will die a happy man if I never get a subscriber in China or Russia, just because I hate the governments there. Like, and I know the dirt they've been doing for years there. Like, it's so funny because now it's the cool political thing to talk about China or Russia. It's like, dude, I've been on that train for 20 years. I was way ahead of I was hating on China before it was cool. Just like I hated on Trump before it was cool. Just like, you know what I mean? Like I already been knowing about all the shady shit they've been doing over there for so fucking long. That, yeah, I was like, yeah, as soon as they popped up in Russia, and when I popped in Russia, I went from like 0 subs to 4 subs to like 60 subs. And I was like, KGB. That was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, KGB. They're on to me. You know, like that's how narcissistic I got with it. You know, I'm like KGB, spying, gonna try to come fucking confront me. Like I started carrying my gun more often because I'm a legal gun owner, you know, and I'm like, fuck, KGB coming after me. My tiny little podcast with 120 subs. I had more subs in Russia than I did on my entire YouTube page for a while.
Oh, really?
For a while. And I was like, yeah, that's the KGB. I did not believe it was real, not even for a little bit.
So do you mainly have just like musicians around Minneapolis come in, or is it?
That's where the foundation is definitely built. Yes, just like Rogan, you know, when he started with comedians. But I want to get away from that. I want to hand this musician thing over to guys who care more about just the music than I do, like a Greg Chilton. Greg Chilton is the Podfather, Ritual Madness podcast.
Okay.
He cares more about just the music than I do. He cares more about up and coming music than I do.
Yeah, that's the place off of Cedar, correct? Or right next to the Arcadia bar.
I don't fucking remember where he's got his thing set up. I've even been there. I think he's up in the suburbs.
Is it like the second floor or some building or?
No, I think he's on the main floor. But dude, he's been doing this thing for so long. He used to fucking be affiliated with Root of All Evil on KFI radio. He just cares about the music more than I do. I love hanging out with people and having crazy conversations about wild shit from physics to science to religion to music to whatever. So yeah, I'm starting off mostly with musicians. But if you notice, you know, it's not just about talking about music. It's more talking about our experiences. And like one of the things I'm interested about talking with and getting to know you more about is like what makes you guys tick and what makes you keep going, right? So like, okay, we start doing music and we start making music because we love music, right?
Correct.
Okay. But why do we get into a band? Why do we seek this as our identity? So there's this weird thing that's happened in Minneapolis where over the last few years, it's almost gotten trendy to come on the podcast and be like, oh, I don't do it for the money. I just love the music. Well, here's what I hear when you say that. And I'm not saying Hondo has said that.
Right.
But this is the proverbial you. When you say that, here's what I hear. I hear bad people in the music industry hearing two things. I can either exploit you and simply not pay you, or I can make money off you without giving you your fair share. Because you just love the music.
Right.
it's become cool and trendy to say you don't want to get paid. You don't care about the money. But first of all, that's dishonest to yourself and to everybody else in the world. Because number one, you deserve to get paid. And number two, you wouldn't spend or try this hard at something if you never wanted to get paid. And if I offered you money, you probably wouldn't turn it down. That's the biggest thing. Is like, so if you crush it and I give you $1,000, are you going to turn it down? Well, no. I mean, I'd take that money. So don't say you're not doing it for the money. Right? What I'm getting at there, the difference there, and where I think I failed as a podcaster is to describe the difference between why we do music and why we decide to join a band and pursue it as our identity, meaning our career, right? So like when you tell people, I'm a musician, you don't tell people, hey, what do you do? Like most of us be like, I'm a musician. And be like, oh, really? That's cool. Most of us don't go, I work at Pizza Luce. Oh, wow. What else do you do? Well, I'm in a band. See, we reverse that. You see what I'm saying? So there's something in us that know we're pursuing music for more than just the love of music. It's the same reason a guy becomes a cook, because he loves to cook. But the reason he starts a business and opens his own restaurant is much more than because he loves to cook, because he wants to fucking feed his family, maybe put some kids through college,
but also doing what he loves to do,
or maybe become Gordon Ramsay and become fucking famous. So there's different why, because first of all musicians are needy as well. We're all emotionally needy, and if you don't admit you're emotionally needy as a musician, you're lying to yourself, and you got to start there on another conversation. So I assume all of us can admit we're emotionally needy as musicians.
For sure. Like,
so
I
why
have my points.
So why do you pursue music as a career? Why do you want to be a real musician instead of just a guy who makes songs in his basement? Like, what is it that motivates you to do this? Because it's extremely risky, man. Getting on stage, writing lyrics, being vulnerable, putting yourself out there to be judged.
Yeah, for sure. It's
potentially not get paid for it. You're
Yeah.
definitely not doing that just because you love music. There's something else you need there. That's what I'm curious about, man. Like, especially as a vocalist.
It's more, I guess for me, it's the love of performing. Like, it's like one of the best feelings ever. Like,
what does that mean?
On stage. I don't know.
I mean, I know what you mean,
being able
but what
to
does that
show
mean to
off
you?
what you can do, like something that sets you apart. Like for me, it's vocals. Like, not everybody can do this. Like, right? People go and pay to see you do this, and
so it's your version of being Tom Brady. It's your version of throwing a touchdown pass where everyone goes, wow.
Yeah, I just, I want to get myself out there in some sort of way. And if this is the way I'm going to do it, like, I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to put my heart and soul into it until, like, maybe one day I can, like, make a living off of what I'm doing. Like, of course, that's always the goal. Like, I'm not doing this so I can, like, just play in your local bar like every like other weekend. Right. I'm doing it so I can get out there, play with bands that inspire me, play with just I love music. I want to be able to do music for a living, and it'd be awesome to actually be able to support you and also like your family or whatever in the process. Yeah,
that's super similar to what I decided when I was a kid too, because I remember being a good baseball player, like a really good bass player. We won the state championship, and I had remembered a couple years before that we had won the state championship being when I played football. Like, I was a really good athlete, but not everybody liked sports. It's just a fact of the world we live in. And already between like 8 and 12 years old, I was already trying to figure out what I wanted to do in the world. Like, I was lucky to be that introspective as a young kid, as a child. Like, who do I want? What kind of man do I want to be? I remember wrestling with, do I want to be the cool kid or the funny kid? Right? Do I want to be the tough guy or the silly guy? Like, I literally remember having these conversations with myself. And I developed an affinity for music. And I realized everybody loves music. Not everybody loves sports. Not everybody loves everything, but everybody loves music. Doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter how old you are. Everybody loves music. So the best way for me to connect with the world and have meaning was through music. Mm-hmm. And I already loved music. I already knew that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's a cool idea, right? I'm like, I'm like, I remember being 12 years old during the state championship game, actually, in between innings. Like, I'm already thinking about this because in Coon Rapids Little League Baseball at 13 and 14 years old, you were already being talked to by colleges. Mm-hmm. Like, you were already in a scouting system for professional baseball. That's real. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't that good, and I knew I wasn't that good, so I knew I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player. So I was already thinking about other things. Football, because I was way better at football. Mm-hmm. And music, because I had this really fucking, like, quick thing towards music. Even more than sports. Mm-hmm. Even the people that knew me were like, dude, you're fucking, like, really quick at this music thing. Like, you've had 2 weeks, and you're already playing all of these songs I taught you. It usually takes kids months, you know, and then it was like, hey, 6 months in, dude, normally, like, this kid over here I've been teaching for 6 years isn't as good as you. And, like, then I started writing songs and people were, like, talking to me and, like, oh. And then I realized I was, through sports, I had gotten a bunch of concussions, right? And I'd started to, like, become a depressed kid, a lonely kid, an outsider, you know, just like every other teenager. But I thought I was different, you know, didn't realize this is what every fucking kid goes through. And music and the lyrics within music and the music, the notes, the beats, the ability for me to lose myself in the music saved my life. It gave me hope. And it was Metallica. And I realized what music and this thing had done for me. Mm-hmm. So you take all that shit I just mentioned, combined with what I just said now, and I went, hey, you know what? Music saved my life. That's what I want to do. Because if I can turn around and save one more kid, if I can be 24 or 34 or 44 and do that for that 14-year-old kid, that's worth it. Just one kid. Well, bro, I said that at 14. I've already done that for multiple kids. I've literally gotten the MySpace messages, the Facebook messages, the Twitter messages. I get them now through the podcast. I have fucking people, dude, and I'm not going to name names, but some of them may or may not be watching right now. I have people who have done greater things in their life than I have ever done who watch this fucking podcast and tell me that I motivate and have inspired them to make changes in their lives. I'm talking military vets. I'm talking SEALs. I'm talking snipers. I'm talking former NFL athletes that look at my petty ass and go, you inspired me through what you're doing now.
Dude, yeah.
Those are the reasons I do these things, is for that validation to know that I'm giving back more than what I've gotten. And luckily, all I've gotten from music, I gave myself a goal. If I can inspire one kid to do music, I've already succeeded.
Yep,
right?
Sure.
Done that. I never even set out a goal with podcasting, but I already had multiple people since the podcast be like, dude, you were a super fucking inspiring dude. I'm like, all right. So but that motivates me to keep going because I realize I'm providing somebody randomly, whether I know it or not, with inspiration and value to believe in themselves and take a chance. Mm-hmm. That's why I keep doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
I don't think enough musicians, though, are looking at themselves and their own motivations and why we're doing this and being honest with themselves. I don't think enough of us are doing this. Self-evaluation. And that's one of the things I find most interesting about our peers, fellow musicians. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are we doing this? Because I have no interest in being good. I want to be great. You know what I mean?
No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I want to kick a lot of ass. So then if I only kick a little ass, I've still kicked some ass. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, it's,
I think if more of us can admit that and acknowledge that, we can actually start achieving our dreams a lot more. But I think a lot of us are kind of disillusioned as to what our actual motivations are. That's why I ask those type of questions.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like that's another motivation for me as well. Like, there has been times where, like, people will message me saying, like, how they were going through a dark time in their life or whatever, and they listen to a certain album that we made or whatever, and it's just like, they will write to me, like, this album saved my life or whatever it is. Like, your new music is, like, something that's keeping me going. And it's something that I always will keep in the back of my mind. Just like, damn, people actually like want to listen to this, and they want to like. It's just like,
specifically as a vocalist.
Yeah. It's like, it's so crazy that like something like I can write will potentially save somebody, you know, or like inspire somebody, or like make them like stoked on life or whatever for whatever duration of time. It's just like, it's almost undescribable, like the feeling that like you get like when you quote unquote help somebody through a dark time.
Yeah,
you know, because like there's plenty of times where I've been through dark times.
I mean, you've played way bigger crowds than I have. And going through those dark times, I've been through them too. But because again, you played way bigger crowds than I have. And what I mean by that is you've played bigger crowds who were there to see you and your band. And I played some pretty fucking big crowds as a singer. Explain to people what you're talking about. I'm going to give you a moment to kind of like put this whole thing in context, because a lot of people can't relate to what we're saying. We're going to put it in context for them because they may not be you. They may want to be you, but most of us have been the kid on the other side of this example. Big show. Your fucking band is crushing it. Your drummer's tight. Your fucking guitar players are killing it. The place is packed. And they know all your lyrics. And the part of the song that matters the most to you comes up. And you fucking lean forward and you start fucking hitting those vocals, and there's a group of kids in front of you screaming your own lyrics that you wrote back to you.
Oh, it's
louder than you can scream them into the PA.
Right.
And at some point in time, this has happened to all of us. If you're great, if your band is great, and I don't care if you're popular or not, if you're great, this has happened to you, whether you're popular or not. You give up. You realize you can't perform your lyrics right now in this perfect moment of performance. You can't do this as well as they can do it. So you lean in, you start hitting those lyrics, and it all hits you as the vocalist because you wrote these lyrics. This is all you. I'm even kind of shaking. You can see it in my fingertips a little bit right now. My adrenaline's pumping because I'm remembering these things. And you're kind of leaning forward. You know how we do in that power vocalist stance?
Right.
But when you hit that motherfucker, dude, everything happening right here, those kids are so loud. You just stop and you just tip that mic back towards them. And that euphoric beauty.
It is probably the best feeling you'll ever have being a performing artist, is when people know your lyrics, when people know your songs front to back, and they're sitting there up front for the entire show just mouthing it with you, you know, like it's so moving, it's inspirational to me. Like, I will feed off the crowd, and like that will make me want to become better, that will make me want to continue writing, that will make me
stealing your gar.
Oh yeah, go for it. It's literally like so like heartwarming, like, and I try to be like as humble as I can about it, you know, like
let's talk about that. That's interesting to me right there, because hubris and insecurity are the two biggest devils we fight as musicians, right? Overconfidence and insecurity, right? The sense of ego, the sense of self. Like you're either too confident or you're not confident enough. And either one of those things will make you a bad performer. For me, it's in those moments convincing myself, yeah, you might be the man right now, motherfucker, but you still ain't actually shit.
Right.
But the reason I was a great performer, and I'm not humble about this at all, when I was a frontman, I was the best. And even as a local musician, when only playing to 500 people or 1,500 people, I'm telling you, I was so fucking good, bro. Like, I was as good as anybody in the world at any level. And I knew I was that good because if you would have given me a David Lee Roth in front of 7 people, I would have outshone David Lee Roth. And if I can outperform David Lee Roth in front of 7 people, then I can outdo him in front of 70,000 people. You see that's how I thought about these things. And I had other people back me up and be like, no, dude, you ain't a very good singer, but you're a fucking amazing frontman, right? I'm not humble about it. I know what I was good at. Terrible singer. I was fucking bad, dude. But that's why I was good. Is because for 45 minutes, even though my real estate of the world that I owned was 40 feet by 12 feet, I still owned that motherfucker. And that's what made other frontmen shitty. Is they didn't know that. They didn't know that, no. You're the king of the world right now. You got 45 minutes where you can do anything you want. And everybody has paid to come here and watch you do whatever you want. That confidence is what makes you a great frontman. But there's a balance there. See, and it sounds like you struggled on the other side, where I struggled with the overconfidence. So when I came off stage, I couldn't shut that switch off. I still thought I owned the world. Like, that's why I used the David Lee Roth thing, because my alter ego, my negative alter ego, was Jared Lee Roth. Because when I walked off stage, I was not in a good spot, dude.
Yep.
I was an egomaniacal tyrant after those shows.
Yeah.
A lot of us are on the other end of that spectrum, and we have a hard time turning it on and turning it up to get up to those periods on stage. That sounds like kind of what you were just referring to.
Yeah, for me, the way I approach like performing live is just like, just do your best, like at all times. Like if there's like points where you're, getting tired and like you're exhausted, just keep pushing. That's like the way I always perform, is just go in there, just like show them you. Like, don't try to like sugarcoat anything, just can be you. And that's the person people are gonna learn to fall in love with eventually, or whatever. Or like, if you sit there like try to like reenact other people, it's just like, oh, you're seeing the same band,
like we were talking about at the beginning, like the comedians do. Yep.
Exactly. But just be you. That's my biggest advice as like a musician, as a performing artist. Set yourself apart from everything else. Like, don't try to like, don't make it so it's like a, weird to say, but like an act. You know what I mean? Versus like an actual performance, something that like comes out of your heart and soul when you perform. So that's just kind of my approach. It's just like I never go up stage and be like, dude, you're gonna fucking kill this. You're gonna murder this fucking set. No,
yeah.
It's more like, all right, let's show these people what we got.
It's
just
weird.
Do our thing.
It's weird because like for me, there's like a tiered approach, almost like a cake, right? Like that bottom layer, that foundational layer, I know I'm gonna crush this, because the simple fact that I've earned the ability to be here already means I'm dope. I've already been validated because I got booked on this show, and everybody here is dope, so I'm dope. Okay, that's important to me because that gets rid of any doubt or insecurity that may hinder my performance, right? Then everything else moving forward, I do two things. I measure myself against everybody else I'm performing with that night. And I go, oh, they brought it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't be a disappointment tonight. Don't do that, because they did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing, the top of the cake, it may be the smallest part of the cake, but the top of the cake, it's the most important part because that's the thing everybody sees, is me understanding the appreciation of the opportunity and the fact that people paid to be there that night. And some people got a babysitter, and this is their one time out in 3 months. So I don't care if there's only 40 people there, or 400, or 4,000. It doesn't actually matter. The people that are there deserve a fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
And this might actually be the last time I ever do this. I could literally die tonight on stage. And that sounds crazy, but I'll tell you why it's not. Fucking dime big fucking Daryl.
Dude, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, man.
Or my dad, who suffered an aneurysm and a fucking stroke down at the shed, getting ready to mow the lawn for the day.
Yeah.
You don't know when it's done.
Right.
Like you don't, like, literally, this could be my last podcast. So I want to have as much fun with you as I can. I want to be as loose. I don't want to sit here and try to pretend, like you just said, put on an act and do all these other things. I want to be as present as I can. I want to really just try to be the best podcaster I can be and be the best new friend, you know, as we develop these relationships and fucking just have a good conversation with a new person I'm getting to know.
Right.
Because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And this might be the last one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Through no choice of my own. And that's the final stage. Every time I walk on stage, that's the final thing that runs through my head. This might be the last one. And it doesn't matter if I was the singer, if I was the drummer. The way I've always explained it is the best is when I was the drummer. This might be the last time I hit this fucking snare drum. You better make it count, motherfucker. And I would say that shit to myself mid-set when I'm starting to get tired. And I'm fucking just I'm giving and I'm like, bitch, that might be the last time you just hit that snare drum. If you're going to hit it one more time, you better make sure it counts. Okay, you're right. Pop! And I'm like, ooh, that was crispy. That fucking sounds good. Let's do that again. And that might be the last one. Pop! Like, because you got to really understand, man, there's a lot of bands. There's probably 1 million bands that started yesterday. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's probably 1 million bands that got formed yesterday. And in that same day, there's a different group of 1 million bands that broke up, and none of them have even made it to their first show at something like Pickle Park or the Main Event or whatever the fuck it's called in Fridley. What's it called now? Route 47. There's a lot of bands that have never even made it to that point.
Right. I'm super grateful for like every opportunity that I've been given. Like as far as
I didn't mean
like,
to imply you weren't.
No.
But I'm glad you're saying.
I'm just adding
what
on
you're
to
saying.
Yeah, it's because of things like that. Life is precious, you know. Like it can end at any moment, like you said. And if I have a fucking banger show coming up, I'm gonna perform my fucking ass off and make sure like it counts, because of like, who knows if it's your last time performing, or who knows if it's like last time an audience member is seeing you.
Right.
You know, like it.
Yep.
Like it goes.
Yeah. We think about Make-A-Wish. We think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, Make-A-Wish. Oh, my dream is to, you know, be the kid who said, he's a friend from work at the Thor movie, you know, with the like, right? That's the peak of Make-A-Wish.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, dude, people aren't part of that organization, and their Make-A-Wishes is to go see by the thousands on Saturday night, because no one knows that kid's dying of cancer, and he's gonna sneak into that show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's gonna be a thing.
Another. Yeah.
Like that very well might be a deal, you know, or something much more innocent and fun. Like this married couple has been a big fan of your band for 5 years, but they had 2 kids back to back, And they haven't had the ability
to go out and have fun for a night. Yeah.
But finally, their tyrants of children are old enough to be babysat.
Yep.
They've calmed down just enough. And they finally get a night out, and they're coming to see your band Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a fucking cool thing, man. They're paying there to be there. And then there's the other layer, which is like the super fans, the loyal fans that come to every show.
Yep.
Because you're that fucking dope. You occupy that much of their time. You know how fucking hard it is to get somebody to fucking watch 12 minutes on a YouTube video?
Yeah,
surprisingly, we do incredibly well. Our average, the people that watch our podcast, dude, and listen to our podcast, our average watch times are through the roof. Like, the people that are into our shit are great. But the reason I bring this up is because there's other guys that make 20-minute videos, and their average watch times are 4 minutes. But you're going to get somebody, hundreds of people, to come out and watch your band. That's fucking cool, dude. And you guys have earned it. I'm not. I hope what we're talking about doesn't seem like I'm somehow painting a picture you guys don't appreciate this. That's not at all. So what I'm saying, it's very cool. And there's a lot of bands like you that don't appreciate it. There's a lot of bands and fans below you that scoff at the accomplishments that bands like you have done.
Right.
Oh, fuck those guys. Like, no, fuck you. Because you don't realize how hard it is to even get to this level.
It is.
Let alone that level. Let alone the next level. Let alone where you guys are at right now. Which is, you guys have definitely done cooler shit than I've ever done. Like, as far as in one individual band where it's your deal. Yes, I've done some big shit as a jobber, but it wasn't my deal. You know what I mean? I was just like barely there playing. I did that for 40 minutes straight. I got paid well, but
reggae set?
Yeah, being a jobber, yeah, you're just in a backing band. Yeah, reggae, country, fucking. It's crazy. The bigger the band on stage, usually is what I've noticed where I've been at in my success level, which is pretty minimal. The bigger the band literally on stage, the more each of them are getting paid. You see this fucking 5-piece come in and crush it, and they're getting paid like $800 a night. It's like that giant jazz band over there got paid a lot more. Drew less people, but got paid more. Well, let's wrap this up, man. You're playing this Saturday for people that want to come out. If you guys throw me on the guest list, as is tradition, I will come out. That is the tradition.
Hell yes. Just
so people know. Just so you know, really. The listeners already know.
Yeah.
If you guys throw me on the list, I'll make sure I make it out. We'll do a TikTok. We'll make it a whole thing. It'll be a blast. Where can people go if they want to try to get tickets?
I believe
is it only at the door, or can they get them online?
You can get them at the door. You can get them online as well. I believe it's through Leo Presents or maybe Ticketmaster.
Bobby, tell people where they can get your tickets. LeoPresents.com, I think. All the other links are in the description. You got anything else you want to add?
Make sure to check out By the Thousands on all of our social media platforms, YouTube,
all
Facebook,
the links are in the description.
Instagram. It's all in the description.
All the links are in the description. Thank you guys for joining us. If you guys want to see me say a bunch of dumb shit on the internet outside of this podcast, you guys can follow me on whatever social media platforms you guys are on. It's all Jared Singer Live. Just so you know, though, if you follow me on Twitter, I pretty much exclusively yell at Ilhan Omar because I think she's a communist and I hate her. And that's all I do on Twitter is talk shit to Ilhan Omar. So don't follow me on Twitter if you want to be entertained. Like, that's not a thing you should do there. Instagram, everywhere else is a good place. Twitter is pretty much exclusively for me yelling at my local politicians because they're all fucking communists and they're all idiots. Other than that, even then, it's all Jared Singer Live. Any of his links, the band By the Thousands, everything, it's in the description on this video or audio if you guys are listening to it on playback. You're not live. Thank you guys so much. We love you all. Hit like, subscribe. We're still on that grind to 1,000, so YouTube starts cutting us checks. We're trying to do this full time. I don't have a real job. This is what I do. So please, you guys support me. And if you guys really want to be juicy, I don't know what the fuck this means, but I've been saying it a lot lately. If you really want to be juicy, go to patreon.com/JaredSingerLive and you can join my Patreon and help support this motherfucker so we can keep this gear and all this shit maintained and start doing more upgrades. So we love you guys. And yeah, peace out. We'll play one more song and then we're just gonna end it.
Thanks for having me.
We're not gonna come back though. We're just gonna play it and just be done. This one, media on, mute.
It's how it has to be.